communist flag right next to it. Like, the ignorance of the left is always just amazing to me.
I'll stay on for another hour. She'll be really upset with me.
Their artwork is always very...
Making them sing audio, right, Bill? Sorry.
It's a .mov file.
Yeah, but it's just all audio, so I don't even have to cap it, and I can just play it over.
No worries.
And sometimes, with me anyway, he would play like the devil's advocate on things. Like if we agreed on issues, he'd sometimes take an opposing view just to challenge me on it. And he and I have talked ever since that first interview about a lot of topics, and we didn't always agree, like I say, and many things we did agree on. But I'll just cut it short. That I think I just love talking to him for the last year, and I'll miss the time that we did spend talking on Discord about everything from politics to movies, music, and comic books, and everything he's done for the last year and a half that he's shown us and given us, will be his legacy, and he'll be remembered for it. Thank you.
I think Brady had that video. If not, I've got something. Somebody else.
Sorry, I do like over here. Yeah, I'm gonna play it that way we can all hear it. It's a minute and 14 seconds.
Yeah, I just text Chris after you said you already talked to him. Sorry.
Tell him I told him to get on here.
If Quincy can get on here,
All right.
I'll tell him.
Okay.
He probably watched. Who knows?
Can you listen to Tara? Can we hear you yet? Oh, she's frozen.
Yeah, she's scrolling.
I thought we were going to have 20 people in here.
Nobody get to talk if that was the case. 20 is a little bit much.
His moderator is trying to get in. She's having trouble.
We're just saying that 25 is the limit for the room.
Yeah, so I'm just trying to see what the user limit is. I guess there's no limit right now.
YouTube, BCP, on Twitch, Telegram, Instagram, Rumble, so on, Facebook. I've known Dylan for about, year and a half to almost 2 years, and we did quite a bit of traveling, and I'm sure many of you guys probably saw us together, working together out in the field and stuff across the country, so, yeah.
I don't know. Mr. Bill?
Yeah, I think I'll go live. We're going to focus on what I'm doing here, since you guys don't check my channel out. But anyway, only Mr. Bill on YouTube and Twitch. I know Bill for about a year. He's along with BCP and Robert. They're the ones that kind of convinced me to start doing live stream by seeing some of their videos and everything. So, wanting to put this thing together, kind of help highlight Bill's life, basically. Thank you.
Yeah, I just want to say as well that I'm thrilled to be a part of this, to be here with a lot of great people that have had the privilege of standing next to Villain, either on the ground as a journalist or as someone who has helped carry Villain's message. I just want to say, before we get too far into this, I appreciate everybody being here and being a part of this. We were talking about this literally minutes after we found out the news, wanting to get this put together, and I'm just glad everybody showed up. Moving on to Real Black Rebel.
Let me see.
Black Rebel, if you want to press the mic button there.
And we'll circle back, not to use Jin Saki's language here. We'll circle back to Free Press. I see you just got in here, and I'm going alphabetically, and we'll come right back to you.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hey, so my name is Andrew or Black Rebel. I first met Villain was after when I got stabbed in Portland last year. After streaming Antifa, he came and did an interview with me inside of my hotel room, or not hotel, inside of my
Hospital, bro.
Yeah, inside the hospital room. And that was the first time I met him. I had been watching his videos. He kind of inspired me to actually go to Portland and start streaming, seeing his videos in Chaz there inside of Seattle, and kind of inspired me to start streaming again and start doing live streams again, and built a friendship with him. Over, went to New York, went to DC, and yeah, it's I guess yeah. I wish I would have had a chance to talk with him more over the last few months. We hadn't been talking as much as we used to over the last few months, and so I do regret the time that I did get a chance to miss.
Yeah, I share a lot of those same sentiments as well. Let's see. Let's go back to Free Press. We'll go with you and your intro.
Can everyone hear me?
Yeah, better, guys.
Yes, sir.
All right, great. Okay, so I go by the name Free Press Media, and I've only talked to Villain 3 times. Unfortunately, it was only 3 times because I would have appreciated to, have talked to him a bit more, maybe get more acquainted with each other. But obviously, with circumstances, that is kind of impossible. And she sort of inspired my get up a bit more because I wasn't really being as anonymous as I should have been. Because, I have certain markings on my body that are identifiable, so so he basically sort of inspired me indirectly to cover up a bit better and try to keep myself as unidentifiable as possible. And right now, I mean, how do I say this? Right now, I'm trying to actually create some patches that say "Rest RIP Villain Report," and I'm just trying to give them away for free to anyone that wants them with no charge whatsoever. I'm trying to make this all come out of my own pocket because I don't want to profit off of his untimely, demise. And I just want to do this to honor him.
You have information where if people wanted to get in touch with you, they could get some of these stickers or patches? Sorry, my dog. Apologize.
Well, I mean, the best way, honestly, is Twitter, but mainly, if you find me at a rally, you'll find me, and I can hand out some of the patches there because that's probably the best way to do it.
I gotcha, for sure. Just was wondering because people will be asking as soon as you mention it. Let's see what we have here.
The other 2 in the room there are friends of his. If you guys feel comfortable to chat about how you knew him or whatever, you can get more into your meeting later on. Chrysanthemum and Squirrels. I know you're.
I was just giving everybody a chance to kind of for people that are watching that don't know necessarily who you are to the specifics, maybe you don't have your tag up that you usually go by your brand, just a chance to be able to personalize an intro for yourself. I think we're on common sense.
I don't mind doing it.
All right, go ahead.
I don't mind doing a little intro. That's cool.
Go for it.
All right, cool. So most everybody knows me as Ricky, but I'm from New Orleans, Louisiana, and I met Villain first December 12th in DC, and we had a really great time, and everything was awesome. Part of the scooter gang, all the way, and then
back in DC with Villain on January 6th. And then January 7th night, Villain put together like the most incredible candlelit vigil for Roseanne Boylan, Ashley Babbitt, and the two gentlemen that died. And the videos of it, Villain took down off of his YouTube channel for some reason a while back. But I have a bunch of the videos if anybody wants to see the pictures and the videos of the memorial. It's really, really awesome. And it was cool because, like, I just felt like, you know, it was just crazy. It was a crazy time, and it was just insane. And you know how when you go through like something as traumatic as being there at the Capitol on January 6th and then going back on January 7th at night, you know, basically going past the little bar or whatever and setting up a vigil, and just, you know, I was able to really bond with Villain, and I regret. I've tried messaging him, and it's just, yeah, that's my intro.
Okay.
Chris, did you want to say anything? Right,
Sure.
So Robert, go ahead.
Oh.
Yeah, we can do Chrysanthemum. That's good.
Hi, so I'm Chrysanthemum. I was a moderator for Villain on YouTube for quite some time. And I also joined his Discord when he first started it. And so he kind of put me in charge of a lot of things there, vetting people, and we talked every day, if not every other day, in messages in Discord. We had countless hours of overnight Discord voice chats with a small group of people, just doing the things that, talking about the things that Villain loved, like philosophy, all of those types of things that he would sometimes get into in his live streams. So he was a really close friend of mine. I met him in person. I drove down to Spiffy's, which is a restaurant that was getting in trouble for COVID violations and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm just glad to be here and be a part of this. And I really miss Dylan, and I appreciate this.
Gotcha. And before Robert talks, make sure all the people that are restreaming this, let's not do anybody with other speculations about what happened or anything like that.
Exactly.
Robert and Quincy are the only ones that have any information, so please let your chat and moderators know that. Robert, if you don't mind sort of saying what the latest is or whatever, and then we'll just kind of leave it at that as you describe how you know Villain.
Did that, Mr. Nice Guy.
All right. So, yeah, I've had a lot of people like already asking questions. A lot of people don't know that Villain has passed away. And I really wanted to make sure that I just kind of cleared it up right off the get-go. For those of you who don't know me, I'm the Common Sense Conservative. I've been out doing this stuff for 6 years, back before there was even a Patriot movement. And Villain, well, we'll get into, you know, my feelings and all that wonderful stuff on Villain. But I was contacted the day that, as well as Quincy, the day that Villain was found to be deceased. And we do not have a cause of death. That is all in the family's hands. And it's up to the family whether or not they want to disclose the actual cause of death. There really is no point in people speculating. There's really no point in people coming up with their, you know, theories and so on, because we don't know. We don't know how or why he died. That is the facts. I can tell you that his family did come and to his residence, and they got all of his personal effects and personal belongings. But other than that, it really is all in the family's hands, whether or not they want to tell anybody what his actual cause of death is. We are not, and nobody is going to release his name for the few of us that actually know what it is, because nobody wants his family getting messed with by the tolerant left. And that is something that I hope everybody can respect, and that there's other information that people might not be sharing for that same reason. So hopefully the masses can respect that, and you know, we're telling everybody what we can. out of respect for him and his family. So that is that.
Yep.
That's good. Thank you. Next,
did you have going ahead?
Yeah, just the next kind of step in this or whatever. I'm thinking is everybody starting with the close friends of his or whatever. Go ahead and kind of talk about what Villain meant to you, how you feel about situation, things like that. Robert, if you want to start that off, since you brought the news and everything, if you want to tell your story. Or Quincy.
Yeah, I can start. Just so I can get it over with. You know, how much I like talking to a bunch of people. But no, Villain was a good guy. I had a lot of respect for Villain. I will never forget the first time I sort of met Villain. It was in the middle of a riot in downtown Portland, and I'm watching this dude walking around trying to sell the Louis Vuitton that he just jacked out of a mall. And all of a sudden I see this like tall, skinny dude who didn't really look like he belonged, walking down the street, and I filmed him for a second. I'm like, well, that's different. And he's filming too. And then little did I know that was Villain. I found out a couple months later after I actually met him in person, and he's like, hey, you filmed me. And it was hilarious because I was like, wow, you're one of those rioter guys. And then we got to know each other. We traveled a lot together. We went to Georgia. You know, traveling with Villain really, you know, helped me get to know him as a person. When I first met him in person, man, he was an open book. Like, he unloaded. Quincy didn't know what to do with himself. Just because he was like, wow, there's all this information coming from this guy that I don't even know. And a lot of it, of course, made Quincy go, wait, what? What'd you say? So, I mean, it was fun. And Villain was, he was a cool cat. Like, he was very, I had a lot of respect for Villain because he always made you think, because some of the stuff that he would say or some of the stuff that he was battling in his head, like, you know, his convictions versus all the new information that he learned and everything. Like he'd be like, what do you think about this? And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, where did you come up with some of these ideas? And he's just like, oh, and then he'd explain it to me. And I'm like, oh, okay. I mean, all right, cool. And then we talk about it. Like we spent 8 hours in a car one time just driving, and it was just back and forth, just talking and talking. And, you know, I didn't always agree with him. A lot of people probably didn't always agree with him, but no matter what, I could always just respect that he was honest. You know, even if he had this weirdest, craziest idea, like he could go, but it helped me learn this, help me understand like how this is or is not. Like, he would always be down to have a conversation. He would always be down to have a debate about something. And if there was a new theory that came out, he always wanted to talk about it. You know, and he was funny. Like, the most amazing thing, I think, and I'm sure every single person on here is going to talk about this, but you can have tear gas, flashbangs, and rocks being thrown all over you, all around you. And if there's a dog, like, I witnessed this. There's a dog, he will like, oh, hey, cool. Don't care about all the cops and the flashbangs and like getting shot with a rubber bullet. I'm going to go pet this dog and I'm going to say hi to it. And I'm like, it was the nuttiest thing I've ever seen. But I mean, that really was a testament to what and who he was as a person, and wading into the middle of Antifa, trying to have a conversation. Like, can you explain to me why you're so dumb? Like, I just want to know, like, what is your everything? Explain this to me. Get me to be on your side. And then, of course, they'd never do it, and they'd assault him and you know, chase him out and everything like that. But he always tried. And you know, he was a great, you know, he's a role model for a lot of these like new up and coming streamers, because like people saw what he did and they were like, you know, I want to do that. I want to do what he did. I want to go up and actually like try to maybe bridge that gap a little bit. And you know, he was just an all around great guy, and he will definitely be missed. I mean, I got stories for days. For the last 3 or 4 streams that I've done, I've just, you know, in the middle of it, I'm like, oh, let me tell you the story about Villain. And then I know that it's going to be going on like that for quite some time. And I mean, that's just the kind of guy he was. And Antifa and all those guys can talk all the crap they want to. but all it is denial and deflection because they really have nothing to complain about when it comes to Villain. Villain has saved more Antifa lives, I think, than any other streamer. Like, I've saved a couple, but like Villain will straight up get in the middle of it and be like, no, leave them alone, and then he'll drag them to safety. And Antifa really has nothing to talk about when it comes to Villain. But that's all I got for now.
Thank you. BCP, you want to go next, and then we'll let the friends, the Villain, go after you.
Yeah, I remember my first time meeting Villain. It was, I want to say, July 5th. It was a day after here in Portland where this guy put up an American flag where the famous elk statue used to be in downtown Portland. And he had a little rally at the waterfront park, and pretty soon this dude comes in covered from head to toe in all black. And I'm sitting there streaming, and I'm like, okay. And this dude just comes over, takes a seat, and just continues his own thing and streaming. I'm like, what in the world is going on? Never seen it. I'm like, completely Antifa over here, not causing problems and streaming this event. He stays around, starts talking to people, and then he starts interacting with me, and we talk. And that was the beginning of our relationship, our friendship there. And it progressed. And I think what Robert's talking about regarding how I didn't know what to do with Villain. Villain was sitting in this car with me right here in the front seat, and we were meeting. I was going to meet up with Robert and a couple other streamers because there was an event going on at nighttime, of course, in downtown Portland. And so we're going to go stream. Robert gets in the car. I'm like, this is Villain. And Villain starts sharing stuff and, opening up a little bit to us. And I'm looking at Robert like, okay, is he Antifa? Is he not? This is like my first time actually hanging around him. And he's saying some stuff, and like Robert said, he always says things to kind of like make you think or question things, and which is great because I mean we've seen that a lot when he would, go interview people and talk to people, go into the midst of Antifa. He's always making people think. He's making people answer questions. Whether it's because of his philosophy or how he thinks or the political climate. Always questioning people, always talking to people, was never embarrassed, never afraid to go do something where a lot of streamers or a lot of people in general would be intimidated or uneasy to go around certain people, especially in the midst of riots and chaos. We see that within the Patriot movement itself, that people don't want to get out there. And Villain was always the one, like, I'm going into it. And I've witnessed myself other times where he goes into the middle of something and he's pulling people away who are on opposite ends of the political spectrum. And one thing about Villain that I can say is that he had a huge compassion for people, and he carried the weight of the burdens of our world. And I think that at times probably came out in some of his live streams, or if you knew him on that level, he definitely would talk about it. He definitely carried the weight of the division that we are seeing in our country. So, and I'm sure, like you guys, his journalism, his reporting will definitely be missed.
Awesome. Chrysanthemum or Squirrels, did you want to go next? How you knew him, or what you thought of him? You want me to a little bit more detail. Squirrels.
All right, I'm gonna go first. I just want to show y'all real quick. If y'all can see it, this is the picture of Villain that I took from my phone while I'm holding his phone. Can y'all see that?
Yeah.
It's Villain was basically on the ground, and when we were doing the candlelight vigil, and that was him lighting up stuff, lighting the candles and all, and I was basically I took a lot of video and stuff. So after this group chat ends, I can send y'all all the stuff I have, so y'all can see all of it too. But memories and stuff like with Villain. I'll tell you, when we were at the thing doing the candlelight vigil, I mean, I have so many stories, but I'll tell you this one. When we were at the candlelight vigil,
It was just so crazy because like the way that Villain was able to pull it together in like such a short amount of time, because me and my buddy from Texas, we were at our hotel by the White House, and Villain was calling me and he's like, "Hey, are y'all already down there?" And I'm like, "Yeah, we're on the way, waiting on an Uber." And like within like a matter of 10 minutes, he went to the CVS or Walgreens and got all the stuff to make this beautiful candlelit vigil. And he pulled it all together by himself, and it was amazing. So that's I guess that's my part of the thing I want to share for like a story memory. It was just amazing, his talent, and just back to what everybody else was saying, like just when we were in the hotel room during the weekend of December 12th, and there's a few people in here that were there that I could already see, but we just had like the greatest conversations in the hotel room. Just the questioning that Villain had was just so intelligent and intellectual. I mean, it was just insane, and the conversations were just awesome. So I don't want to take too much up time, so that would be it.
Awesome. Chris, Anthem. Do you have any?
Hi. I could add a little. I made a little video earlier today.
Yes, you did.
Kind of like a little montage of a few clips of Villain. So hopefully I can share that somewhere. Or
yeah, let me send that to Brant, and Brant can put it on stream for everybody to hear. But yeah, go ahead and tell your story.
Yeah, I definitely will. Yeah, I definitely will.
Awesome, thank you.
Yeah.
So Villain was really, really active in his Discord. I just wanted to kind of go back to that. We had a group of like 7 of us, and we would spend sometimes 8 hours straight in a voice chat with Villain, sometimes multiple nights in a row. And we just had so much fun. We learned so much. And, if I wasn't in there, he would send me a message and say, "Hey, get in here. You need to tell these people to be quiet and then let these people talk." And it was like he knew that he knew that's what I needed for me to kind of grow some in my own life, just to pull me out a little bit of my shell. So he was doing that for me. And so that's just one thing I'm really thankful for. But he would come into Discord after his streams and kind of decompress and summarize and go over it with us and ask how it all went. And we would just spend so many hours talking to him. And yeah. Oh, and the last thing that we did with Villain was he decided to throw a Secret Santa gift exchange. He asked if we wanted to do that. So he drew the names and made jokes about what he wanted, and just like a couple hours of that. And so I sent him those, and that was kind of the last time that I was able to speak with him. But yeah.
Branch, I sent her what she made that last video on Villain Report. I just sent you the link. If you could somehow play that.
Hey, I'm gonna play that instead for sure. Is it okay if I kind of like, just because of what she referenced, I feel like it has a lot to do with what I'm going to bring up?
Yeah. You can be next. You bet.
Okay, cool. So I think I'm one of the first people in here that had pretty I had like a very unclear view of who Villain Report was and what he represented, because he liked to blend in and he liked to engage both sides. So as a content creator, never wanted to get my subjective involved because I didn't know what he stood for and I didn't want to speak for other people. So I would watch this guy. Literally, he would call out people on the right if they were doing fucked up shit. He would call out people on the left if they were doing fucked up shit. And whenever I heard the lefty arguments, he kind of was this, what's the word? He kind of showed, even though he was dressed the same as them, he said he wanted to bring, the toleration of listening to other people, having a conversation, having a debate. He was for you to see that, hey, this is how real conversations happen. This is how you're engaged. This is how you control yourself. Watching him withstand all the attacks of other people, I gained a lot of respect for him. So I wanted to reach out to him naturally. So the 2 times that I met Villain were in these Discord calls that Chrysanthemum is talking about, because I host panels. Not a lot of this is just about covering the activism. It's about having an educated conversation afterwards and bringing everything to light, full transparency, not having just one lanes of conversation. And Villain was really good at submitting and pouring out his convictions and all of his morals and what he believed in. And the 2 times that I was blessed to have him in Discord calls, he actually provided an alternative form of thought that people really had to challenge themselves with. And some people took it offensive. Some people understood. And, the last time that I saw Villain, he was a lot more calm. He realized that, we were having more of a discussion rather than at the time, the first time, it was a very heated debate. But I could definitely sense, through all the convictions that he talked about, that these are things that he truly believed in, and he truly wanted to make a difference in, and he wanted to just talk about it all the time, and he wanted to get people involved, like Chrysanthemum was talking about, getting people involved from the moderation standpoint, getting people involved from the another point of view. Hey, I want to know what you have to say. What do you have to say? And then you would sit there and he would just listen. And I'm pretty sure we talked to Villain both of those times probably almost 20 hours combined, because he just sat in there and he just poured his heart out. And one thing that I do regret is not having him on there again, and just having him sit there and just pour out his convictions again, and teach people, educate people on just another point of view, another way you can see things. And that's what I got to say.
Go ahead and play that video, Branch, and then we'll go to Tara, I guess, another live streamer. Is there a way to replace your screen or whatever is best for so the other streamers will know where to watch the video at? There's also that another audio clip that she sent also, if you wanted to try to play that too.
My plug here real quick. So if you guys don't know who I am Villain.
Like the watch stream, restreamers, and
that's kind of hard to throw that one.
We'll get it set.
Yeah, I got it up there.
Thank you. The mic looks like a fuzzy toy, doesn't it? Hey, Luna. You're gonna smell it, Mike. Lily, sorry. The other dog is Luna. The little Pomeranian over there. Oh, they see each other. Lily. Hey, pup. Oh, my goodness. You're a beautiful dog. Can she have a Mopo? Look at these boats. Pontoony boats on the beach. Yes. Oh man, I'm not looking at the chat if you're wanting to talk, so this is so cool. All these trees down here. Christmas Tree Village. This is where the Triumph sell, the main place where they sell their bus passes. Christmas Land. This is probably my favorite view right here, right now. Somebody just said, you're better used for outside, don't be a martyr. I'm not trying to be a martyr, but I understand what you're saying, but I disagree with it. I've fundamentally come to this point to where do not compromise your integrity or your soul. This life is one life. We're here to decide who we're going to be, and we're going to live into eternity. So, no, it doesn't matter what happens here. It doesn't matter who wins. It doesn't matter if the tyrants take control. The Christian Bible says that the tyrants are going to gain control. If you've read Revelations, the good guys don't.
Hey, just real quick, in the lull, I just want to let you know, Bill, that son of Hightower, Eli, he wants to jump on too, so I'm going to send him a link.
It does not matter.
If you have permission, go ahead. Otherwise, I'll send him one.
Person you become.
Yeah, he wants to join up. He's got something to say too.
Of light
or they will become creatures of darkness. That's all that matters here, is what you do and who you become internally. It doesn't matter if we win here. It does not matter.
Okay, so about the second clip, it said it didn't have permission or access to the Discord link that you linked. So,
it's because
I'll definitely put it up. I'll definitely put it up as soon as you give it to me. When I clicked on it, said I don't have permission.
It's probably because it was a message sent to me. Chrysanthemum, what did that say? Sorry, I don't have my screen up where I can play that audio that you sent me on there. But if you, was it basically kind of your thoughts?
Yeah, that's what that was, because I wasn't sure if I'd be in here. I don't know if anybody else.
Yeah, he wasn't there at the Red Robin one.
Yeah.
There was
Same
also
situation,
a memory of him talking with CJ at one point around, I want to say January 4th or January 5th. Him and CJ had a rather long conversation as well. A lot of soul searching happened in that conversation. But yeah, there are all kinds of memories that now that we're talking about are just kind of popping up.
Hey, thank you. Before we go to Son of Hightower, who just popped in, who also knew him from the streets of Portland, like we all said, Villain liked dogs and everything. So I didn't know an exact charity that he liked, and he also liked wanted to go to Utah as in retirement and everything. So if you guys look in,
Brandon Farley will fuck all this up.
For some reason, I don't know why.
It's like you summoned Voldemort.
I was debating whether to say that. I know, but
I think Brandon's hilarious. Anyways, yeah, man, I got to meet Villain for the real human behind the mask, the guy that to see a different side of him, to get to know him a little bit more, and he's just what it boils down to, he was just a really kind, compassionate dude. I know that sounds kind of generic, but he really was. He cared so much. And I could tell he cared so much because, just the way he would reach out to me and the conversations we had, it was like, I felt, why am I so special to have a relationship with Villain like this for? Why does he feel so willing to let his guard down and say some of the things he would tell me and, speak about some of the subjects we talk about? But at the end of the day, it was just camaraderie. It was, it just good spirited person who cared about, his fellow people and those around him. And he just wanted to connect. And I appreciate the opportunity that, we had to connect, and, I'll never forget it.
Awesome. So Hightower still having some audio issues over there. Anybody else have any kind of favorite videos of his? Mine was also the one that kind of inspired me was the restaurant one, but like I say, Wee Spa was a great one also. But some of those little ones also, when he sort of confronted the police, I can't remember exactly when it was, but he didn't want to give out his identity. A lot of times he was kind of pro cop that time, whatever. He was not really happy with the cops asking his information, but he was always kind of set his mind whatever was on his mind. He would let people know what was on it. But anyway, let's have.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
I don't know. Did you have anything you wanted to say? I might server mute whoever's got the audio issues there. Anybody else have any favorite videos?
I had a quick one where this is you were saying some of the smaller videos he did. One of my favorite ones, and I clapped when I saw it, was when he went through Portland during the day and he walked up to where Steve Fruit Broker for some of you guys, or the Yeet crew, when he bought the billboards. And Villain gave us a tour of Portland and showed us the billboards. And I laughed so hard when I saw that. And that was one of my favorite, smaller videos he made.
That was a good one.
I don't think it lasted long. I think it lasted, a couple days.
Oh, yeah. I went in there about 4 or 5 hours after Villain did a similar. Did a little flag wave right next to that station there.
I remember he did this. He did a thumbs up, and there's a screen grab of him thumbs upping, and it was cool. Right behind the sign. They're really fun. I mean,
Did anybody else have kind of favorite videos before we talk about, his legacy, what we can learn from what he kind of brought to us and everything? What's going to happen in 2022? Anybody else have any kind of unique insight or favorite videos they have of him? Sunlight Tower, still out there?
Is this working now?
Yeah.
I'm just glad I'm not the only one that doesn't know how to do Discord.
You see all these techie guys with all these live streamers that are out here would know how to do a basic.
Dude, IRL is easy.
CJ's asking how to get involved in this before we start talking again. Let me just say, CJ, I'm going to message you personally. Do the Discord invite. Once you join my Discord, I can then add you because you'll be a member, right? And as a friend, and I can message you the Multi-Coalition Discord, which is where everybody is right now. And then while he's figuring that out, how are you going to go if you want to?
Or, do that way. If that's one thing I got a plan.
IRL is much easier than this, you guys. Just basically I've been going live through the YouTube app for the last couple of years. I just press go live and it goes live. It's super easy. This is way super complicated, you guys. I like complicated though. So this is fun. It's one of the reasons why I liked Villain. Extremely complicated guy, and I wanted to say a lot of people are saying that dude was very fearless, and I can't say I can't say more to that except for that. I think one of the things that he was really hoping to do was to reveal his identity to the world, and that's one of the things that I think that we really we missed with his loss. Everybody says he's got the ability to bridge between the two, and he really was one of us as a human, one of the human beings of this world. And I'm just really going to miss his energy. I just wanted to throw that out there. This guy's got a name, and he wasn't using it because he didn't want it to distract from what was going on. He didn't want.
Let's keep. Is it cool that we keep it anonymous? I don't know if you're planning on saying anything.
No. Okay, exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Just making sure. I just wanted to I wanted to preemptively. Yeah. Some of us, we don't want to be.
And let's leave it. Let's leave it for the family. But my favorite time ever filming with him was during Jay's memorial here in Portland. Antifa would end up crashing it. However, I think that the way that he covered that, it was just amazing. It was amazing to be with such a reasonable person. So that's all I really wanted to add to this. Is that he was a real person. He had a name, and I can't wait to say it. And with that, I'll just keep listening to you guys. Thanks for holding this platform.
We're still waiting on CJ to come in. Does anybody have any questions for those of us that did know a little bit better?
On the Discord thing, make sure that he isn't requiring some kind of authorization from you.
Did he get it?
I sent him a link.
All right,
just let you know before he just.
Yeah, there's a little admin thing I got to do. Did anybody have questions for BCP?
I actually had one quick thing I just kind of wanted to compliment on was because as a streamer I understand how difficult this is. I will compliment him on his audio and video quality, the ability to work all of that crap out. Because to this day I still don't know how he did it or how any of the underground reporters do it. BCP, you're one of them, man. I watch you and I'm like, I can't understand. You have such good quality. And as a nerd, I appreciate those types of things. And Bill was good at that for sure.
Yeah.
Brant, what was it? Paradox is not how he's coming in?
Sure. Honestly, I sent him the message, the link. I don't know if he has. I don't have him added on Discord, but I don't want to out what his. Discord is trying to be anonymous,
Yeah, I should have said that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's all good. I mean, you didn't give out the numbers or anything, so.
Yeah.
Technology, folks.
Exactly. Thank you for being patient, chat. We appreciate it. If you again wanted that link for the dog place, it was called bestfriends.org. And then to go to the donation area if you want to sort of say something on behalf of
bestfriends.org.
Bestfriends.org. And there's a link I put into the Discord chat. If you guys want to grab that link, that's the direct donation thing, but it's pretty easy to access it through there. Or if you do want to help the other lady that we would think that Villa would want to help if he knew her.
Let me reiterate it really quick, just because there's a lot of people in here that want to know more about it. Bestfriends.org chat, that is where you can support if you'd like to. Mr. Bill, go back over the specifics of what this particular nonprofit is doing.
I was reading up on it, but I think they're based out of Utah, and they're a non-kill shelter for a lot of these other kind of humane societies. If they can't sell the dog off at a certain time, then they euthanize it. This particular one is trying to make it, finding homes for everybody, no matter what. At that point, they're all sorts of cute dogs. Looks like they work with cats also, but it's one of those kind of. In fact, Chrysanthemum gave you the link there to this thing here. If you have any other sort of sentiments about why Villa would choose this one here, Chrysanthemum, please feel free to say it.
Villain and I talked a lot about wanting to go to Utah and see the Red Rock there. And this particular rescue is no kill, no matter how aggressive the dog is or the animal, it will stay there forever. And so that's kind of why we chose that one.
Nice. So chat, you heard that. If you'd like to support, I have the link down at the bottom. As well, I believe there was also an announcement. Going ahead, yeah.
And if you want to also help out, if you want to put your Cash App in the chat or whatever, so that people can sort of copy that link, and if it's possible,
that's going to go for one of our community members, right? The one we talked about.
Yeah. I'm not going to say names or anything like that, but hard times recently. But I don't know how else we want to possibly help her out. We don't. It doesn't really have a GoFundMe or anything like that, but just to ease kind of the grand junction for helping her, basically.
Mm-hmm.
In regards to Bill also the best
sorry, if all of you could enlarge my image here in just a moment, it will show my Cash App, Venmo, and PayPal.
All right.
Just give it a minute or so for everybody, and so they can you can focus it and show it on your screen.
Right? Seems like it. Is it Yeedy on the streets on pretty much all of them?
Yeah, okay. Except for PayPal, which is Yeet McEaterson.
Yeet McEaterson for PayPal, y'all. And then everything else is Yeedy on the streets. That would be like Cash App and Venmo, right?
Yes.
Okay. And that's going to be helping our community member out, chat, just so y'all know what that is, okay? And then the bestfriends.org, that is if you want to help the nonprofit, is a no-kill shelter. So I just want to make sure we gave a little bit of time for that, because a lot of people are asking just clarity on that.
And CJ, if I let you in, if that's you that I think it is in the channel, if it's not you, then I will go to your Twitter and send you a message through Twitter and send you the invite that way. But otherwise, you should be able to access the voice chat now.
Yeah, you know what? Everything that comes into my stream today, we're going to document it, and we're going to put it towards that as well. So just go ahead and throw that in there as well, chat. So just to clear it up, anything that comes to the stream today, every bit of it will go towards that. We'll figure out how to dual contribute, okay?
For anybody on the politically incorrect lounge, also, if you can't find that link, I've posted it in the general section on mine, so you can find it there for the shelter. And I will also be posting later, once I get it from Yeedy, the link for the donation to help the individual that needs some help.
Yeah, I'll get that to you a little bit later, Central.
Yeah. But yeah, so we're working on getting CJ in here, correct? Right now.
Yeah. Still trying to track down his Twitter if that's not. If he didn't get that okay through the thing there.
He says it should be him, like who it is.
What starts with P? Yeah. Okay, so added him. Maybe just have him refresh the screen, basically, or something like that. And we'll get CJ in here and give his thoughts. But until then, let's see if there's anybody else that has any questions for.
Said Voices for the Voiceless is locked, won't let me in. I would say you should give me like a moderator position on here, so I can just help you not have to like micromanage so much. So it would probably make
Gotcha. Yeah, let me see if I can do that. Hold on here. If I have the power to do that, or the other person who's the host might not give me that power. Hold on. Let's see.
Okay.
Invite to server. If I right click, where would it be on that screen? Let's see.
So what you would do is you would right click on my name, and then you would go down to roles, and then I guess you just give me like one step up on a role or two steps up, wherever the ability to slide people around rooms is.
Oh, there it is. Yeah.
And then I can help you. You don't have to like think so much on it, because I know you're trying to keep the structure of this and that.
All I can do is make post and streamer, and just give the option to admin use. So I'll just keep trying to.
Okay. We're all working together to figure this out.
Yeah.
Keep going on.
You need a waiting lobby, because it's you have to promote everyone to come in. Like a waiting lobby would allow them somewhere to like sit.
I like Free Press's camera right now. It's kind of gives everybody kind of a nice reminder of what Dylan kind of looked like, because I was trying to find a way to put a picture on the screen.
It freaked me out for a second there.
I was waiting. Yeah, I was waiting to patiently say that. I was like, wait a minute.
Chat, all the bits that come in today, we're going to be shifting that directly over towards support for our community, and then also for the bestfriends.org non-kill shelter. And that's where our two causes will be today. 100% of the proceeds will go towards that. So that simplifies it for everyone participating. That you don't have to think so much and jumble around.
I think I just need to send him an invite. Okay.
I did want to say too that I've been sitting in here for however long, and I did not realize Polish American Brotherhood was here. And howdy, I've watched tons of your streams. I was like, "Who's Po AM Brother?" Oh, and I remembered. And you do great work as well. I remember a few of your streams too.
We actually have a group of powerhouses in this Discord right now.
I know. It's like
have been very integral on the ground, sharing the message out. There's a lot of people in here, very honored with all
Antifa's most wanted on one place.
Oh,
God. Don't say that.
Yeah, be quiet.
Name your ranking flash card.
Inside this lobby.
What flash card number are you guys? Name your flash card ranking.
Oh goodness.
Oh boy.
I think I'm 13. I think I'm 13 or 14.
You know, I've been disappointed.
Now look into that. Is there like a tier list or something? Is that what it is?
I didn't know they had a ranking system.
It's like I sort of want to be on the list, but I sort of don't want to be on the list.
I don't want to.
You know,
it's got to be a badge of honor in some way.
That was World of Warcraft references. So,
I think I'm in the single music on that one. Finally,
You're up there.
Especially with the Dustin's book, I would think.
Yeah,
I think you're high up on that list just because you're just too sad.
Just so all you guys know, in the main chat in this Discord that we're in, I put my info in there for.
Well, this Discord would only be for the content creators mirroring it out. If you want to, you can go to each of the communities and you can put it in my general chat. I know for sure.
Right, but just saying you could copy and paste it and then over to your community.
Yeah, see that general chat there that's over there.
I'm just trying to simplify it, chat, so that it.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Still trying to get CJ in here, but somebody else wants to ask another question. Hold on. Go ahead and ask Robert or Quincy or anybody else who knew him if you guys have any kind of thing you want to know about villain or whatever?
A lot of people are asking too who everybody is. If maybe we can just do a real quick recap for the.
Oh yeah, you betcha. Let's start with CJ that just came in the room there. The myth, the legend.
I made it. I made it.
Oh, not
it.
Not
gotcha.
that guy.
Yeah, man.
CJ, go ahead and say yours. You have a chance to tell us your thoughts about villain or where you met him, and we have a couple minutes on that.
Yeah, I mean, can you guys hear me okay?
Yep.
Yeah.
Hey, noob, turn your phone sideways. My goodness, you knew this?
I know. How long you been freaking filming and you can't...
This is a new live streamer, guys.
He's a brand new
IRL
streamer.
CJ, yo, CJ.
First day streaming, CJ.
Hey, CJ, are you a rookie? Are you a rookie or what, bro?
It's called landscape mode.
Hey, I just want to quickly point out, if the first phone company that makes a phone that you can hold portrait and can film landscape is going to make $1 million, billions of dollars potentially.
Like pops up and flips side. I'm not even going to talk about it like I know technology. I'm going to shut up. But thank you for the warm greeting, y'all. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
So, yeah, that's. You know what's funny, man, is that you mentioned like not knowing how to hold the phone. That's when I first met Villain. Actually, is when I very first started all this. So first off, big shout out to all you guys for doing this, man. I really do appreciate it. Like it's very ambiguous, this whole situation with the stream world, especially with someone like Villain, who's, he's on the cloak and dagger aspect of things. So you don't really like see and know who the guy is, right? Until you get a chance to kind of repeatedly run into each other. So. Villain and I, man, we met in Seattle in the Chop before he started the Villain Report, like way back in the day. I'm talking when the Chop first started. And I just started, so I wasn't even holding my phone right. I was still doing vertical. I'm walking around trying to figure out. I thought selfie sticks were lame. I'm like, man, I want to do this. But I met him and we got a chance to talk. And the first time we talked, man, he was just a super engaging guy. You know what I mean? Right off the bat. And it was kind of an intriguing moment for me because you could tell he was looking to like get more involved. And he started in my world, kind of the way that he showcased himself throughout all of his streaming, which was like very out front, he was, he was brave, man. He was a super brave guy. And I'll say this, one of the things I admire about him is that in all the places we ran into each other, between Seattle, Portland, DC, like all around the country, he never had an issue. LA, someone mentioned the Wii Swap thing. He never down there for that one as well. And there was never a moment where he wasn't willing to just let you know straight up, like, this is who I am, this is what I'm doing, these are my rights, and you're not going to overstep that and tell me how I can and can't live my life. Honestly, there was plenty of times where I was like, at the Wii Spot thing, he was getting swept at Wii Spot, and I even backed up. I was like, all right, they kind of circled me, and they were like, this guy. I get a lot of flack from, well, you guys already know how I get it, but it was like 15 people, and I'm like, all right, cool, man, not my monkey, not my zoo. And as I'm closing my stream to walk across the street, I hear Villain giving him an earful across the street, and he's standing between the police and Antifa, and he was just giving him the breakdown. Like, no, you're not going to tell me where I can go. You're not going to tell me where I can't go, Bob. And I was like, shit, man. I felt like a real punk right now, but Villain was stepping up and keeping it strong, man. But that's how he was every time we saw each other. And one of the more, like the humanized moment for me with Villain was in DC last year in December. There was that big Proud Boy thing. You guys remember Proud Boy Antifa? There was a big brawls, and they were fighting in the streets. And this is when everyone assumed I was a Proud Boy. It's like, oh, he filmed this. And I'm like, all right, well, I filmed plenty.
Everybody is, yeah.
Right? I think you guys talking about your flash card. And I'm like, that's funny because, like, immediately I interviewed Enrique, and all of a sudden, like, oh, we knew you were a Proud Boy. I'm like, well, all right. Well, you know more than me, apparently. But
was this around the time when Andy No thing happened? When he got cemented?
No, that was before.
Okay. I'm just trying to rack my brain.
This build up to J6 last year.
Yeah, this December 12th, the Million Mega March.
That was in front
all right.
That was in front of Harry's.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So,
Harry's.
Nobody cares about Andy, no.
Polish Brotherhood.
Of course, Rob.
Where's Polish Brotherhood in this one, right?
She's there yet.
You guys just had. Oh, you just had Kristan on the show. I was just staying at his place out in Milwaukee for a couple days, from the Kenosha, but which is when I found out Villain. But in DC, man, it was I'll get him kind of choked up actually, dude. Like we were on top of a dump truck or whatever, in the middle of that intersection in front of Harry's Bar. There's Proud Boys everywhere. Like,
yeah, you guys were, yeah.
Yeah, remember Antifa had this big scrap. Someone got stabbed a couple times.
Yeah,
we got the whole Proud Boy crew circled me at one point, and they were like trying to sweat me, and I'm like, dude, you know who I am. I've interviewed you guys multiple times. I've had a handful of you guys come up here and be like, we joined because of you, and I'm like, well, I'm not a recruiter, but I'm glad you're involved in what you believe, and that's something that was really the continuity in Villain, was that he just stood up for what he believed, And we were on top of this truck, and he had a moment where it was the first time he pulled his mask down, and that was his way of saying hey man, we're good. He was like, this is who I am, which was funny because we'd seen each other, so many times before that, but I didn't even think about it. I just assumed he was a mask, you know what I mean? I was like, yeah, that's what it looks like. But and then he asked me straight up, and I don't know how this plays into his passing, but he was like, how are you dealing with everything, man? How are you coping? And we both kind of muted our streams and just had a real good heart to heart. And he was talking to me a lot about how he was doing a lot of drinking, how he was trying to deal with a lot of the things that were coming in line with what we do. Being around that hate and that venom all the time, and that kind of cantankerous, negativity, it weighs on you. It's a darkness that kind of pulls at you. And we had a really amazing bonding moment up there where we kind of talked each other through kind of the elements of our PTSD and kind of what we were trying to manage through it. And then after that, when we saw each other, it was definitely more of a deeper connection, because it wasn't just two guys that happened to be carrying phones and recording craziness in the streets. It was real people that were really experiencing what we were there to cover, and it didn't just have a passive approach on our existence. It really sinks in. But we got a chance to have a lot of good conversations, and the guy just really set a high standard for stepping up and not being afraid to to own your space, and I think that's a powerful message for us as well, in the fact that we're allowed to stand our ground, and I'd been really kind of I was really wishy-washy, man. Primetime's in here. He'll remember one of the times in Tacoma that I had to square off with a little verbal square off with some of the Antifa folk, but it was I was always very kind of passive, all right, it's good. Because I'm around it so much here in the Northwest, that you have to kind of maintain a little bit of a balance between them and everything else, where I'm not trying to be the news, I'm trying to cover what's happening. And Villain definitely stayed on that line too. He was like, hey man, I'm not your enemy. Actually, what's funny? I adopted that from him. He said that to somebody once while we were out in a crowd. And I was like, that's exactly it, man. I'm not your enemy. I don't need to be your enemy until you make me your enemy. You know what I mean? And then we've got this entire backlog of thousands and thousands and thousands of people that are you're just gonna make them your enemy too, But but it was it was one of those times where I was finally I was all right, one of those fuck you moments where I'm you need to back up. I'm tired of this shit. I'm not gonna deal with it anymore. I've let you guys give me too much push, and I haven't given you enough push back. And that's where guys like Villain really demonstrated that there's a different way to do it. You don't have to allow the world to step on you or step over you. You're a presence, and that's that's important. Your voice needs to be heard. And not to get too preachy about it, but the guy really was. He was a solid installation in what we do, and I think if anything, it was a great indication of how we can do what we do, especially for us that when we get out in the field and we're doing things I know it's kind of a mixed view. We have some of us we're in the studio more than we are in the field, and some are in the field more in the studio. And there's kind of a healthy balance between the two. With I'm sure a lot of us in here. And you got BCP, Primetime. I know all you guys up here in the Northwest. You guys know how it gets. You have to really walk a fine line. You have to figure out how to be not everybody's friend, but you have to maintain this weird friendly vibe, right? BCP, I know you have all right, we're cool. When really inside you're screaming fuck you, man. You know what I mean? You want to go, especially I'm not a little person. BCP, I know you're not a little guy either. When you're out there, you're oh, all 80 pounds of you I want to throw into a dumpster right now. But you don't. And you realize that a lot of it is and again, I keep drawing it back to Villain. Like in Respawn, that event was like, that was really turnkey for me. Like when I was most of the time in my life, honestly.
I had to walk away from my own stream that night. It was that bad.
Yeah.
You know, and I was at home. I could only imagine what you were thinking.
I mean, it was at one point I looked down and I had like 90,000 people live on the show, and I realized in that moment I was like, there are almost 100,000 people that are going to hear every word I have to say right now. They're going to see everything that I showed them right now.
Yep. Right.
And I realized right
a lick of it, except for maybe a 30-second clip.
exactly. And that's why Kenosha and I have such a great connection. Is that I realized then, like, we have a responsibility now. Like, once you have people that are looking to you for anything, I mean, even as a child that trusts you to like protect them, whatever it is, like we have a responsibility then to be someone that'll a purveyor of truth. And
that's what Villain did. That was how Villain lived through his journalism. That's why every time I knew when I had Villain on, I was going to get quality, upfront, engaging material. Sensitive topics were going to be talked about. And basically, he, like much people like to avoid controversy, he went right into it like a headwind.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
If we could do one thing real quick, and then we'll get back into the discussion here, and have everybody kind of shout out who they are, so other people in other streams can kind of identify each other, and then also after you do that, say a short sentence or a few words, just how you would describe Villain. Okay, and start at the top with Brand for Liberty.
Hey everybody, it's been a pleasure being a part of this. It's really nice to formally meet a lot of you for the first time. Like I said, I'm really sad that it had to be on such somber and sad, occasion. But like I said, we have very difficult conversations on my stream. I cover a lot of what's going on the ground. A lot of the streamers that are in this call. Like I said, I'm very appreciative to have been here. Like I said, Brant for Liberty on Twitch, Facebook, Twitter. Everywhere, Brant for Liberty. And like I said, it was nice to meet everyone. I hope that a lot of this isn't the last time that we talk. So I would like to invite anybody that would like to go on the platform, have a deep dive or a discussion. But yeah.
We'll still keep talking. I just want to kind of do this. And hopefully you get better, Brant. So pray for it. And did you have what would you encapsulate Villain with? We'll keep talking.
Yeah, he was bold. Like I said, he was bold. He was engaging. He would go to the root of the situation or the conflict in the conversation, because he thought that every one of those moments was an opportunity to educate or inform, and that's one thing. Like I said, I looked forward to every time I had his stream on.
Hey, Central, just a few words about who you are and what word would you describe Villain?
Yeah, I'm the Central Scrutinizer. I'm the former co-host of another stream out there, the Wolf Neve stream, who's still out there. I just want to say it's a pleasure to be here with all of you, and I agree. I wish it wasn't under such horrible circumstances. Just want to say, though, that I think it's important, as we've all said, that we all get out there, we all look out for each other, and we continue to challenge people's views the way that Villain challenged a lot of people out there, and show the truth, and get the truth out there, so and show that we can all come together and we can all get along, even if we don't all agree on everything. There are better ways to solve the problems that are going on in this world right now. And that night in Kenosha, I just want to say also, I think that's a night that we'd all seen things prior to that happen, but that night in Kenosha is what just really woke a lot of people up. And it was that night that it was one of the most horrific nights, essentially, that brought people together, solidified us together. That week.
I think what you said at the end kind of does a nice job, bring people together. That's a good way to sort of encapsulate Villain. DK, if you don't mind just shouting your channel out real quick and what word or words you would sort of use to describe Villain.
So I am DK. My real name's Daniel, or Dan, but I used to run DK Records on Twitch. I run DK Records on YouTube now, for I'm sure reasons most of you guys can understand why I'm not on Twitch anymore. But that's now on YouTube, and that's kind of what I do, and that's where I got a lot of my experience, and that's fortunately actually where I met Villain, was over on YouTube. And I'm just kind of going to tangent a little bit, but I'm just really thankful, I went through my own personal stuff. I'm not going to get into over the last year and a half. And if it wasn't for this community, including Villain, I don't think I would be sitting here either. So I love all of you guys. I miss Villain, and I wish things turned out differently. Honestly, I really do. I really do, and I hope we continue this this thing, like CJ was saying about how it's kind of our responsibility now as a community when you have literally any amount of people watching you. And this is something I'm learning right now is that you have to be mindful of that and respect the privilege you've been given, and hopefully we all continue. And then one thing I really want to say is I don't want anybody in here to feel like they're alone. If you're going through something, whether you reach out to me or just anybody or a friend or a family, don't ever feel like you're alone. You know, don't ever feel like you can't reach out because you got everybody here and other people in your lives as well. And
it's a great community.
Yeah, and
Great
that's what I was just going to say. Yeah, community would kind of be another kind of description of Villain. He was trying to bring everybody together and as a form of community. Eddie, if you could say a few words and whatever you need.
Sure. I'm Eddie.
Shout everybody out here. If you guys haven't watching the streams, you're kind of curious, who are these people on my screen or whatever? Yeah. This is the people that they are.
I am Eddie Block Films. If you don't know, on YouTube, Eddie Block Films live stream on Twitch. I'm just honored to be here, man. You know, Villain was a great man, you know, a great person, and it's just an honor to be able to say, you know, hey, we've done the same kind of stuff together, you know, and honored to be part of this group. Actually, you know, you guys are all great friends. I met almost all of you in person, and man, just can't believe Villain's gone. You know, like I said, I've only met him twice, but the 2 times I met him, he was just an awesome person. You know, he sent me private messages here and there, and just a great guy. So, you know, we're all gonna miss him.
Great guy. I like a good way to say it. Yeah. Free Press Media.
Hey, so I'm Free Press Media. You could find me on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. And I have 3 words to describe Villain as. He was an idol, an icon, and even a teacher. I mean, even if you didn't, if you were not on really first name basis with him, and if you just talked to him or just viewed him through his streams, he really was a person to look up to. I only talked to him three times. I think the second or third time was when I met him without his mask, which was an honor because, you know, I kind of had an image of what he was in my head, and well, he exceeded my expectations. He always knew how to hold a conversation, and like I said earlier when I introduced myself about an hour earlier, is that I kind of wish I got to know him a lot better because he really was a great person. I really enjoyed talking with him and watching him on his streams, and it is quite unfortunate that it also kind of caused this weight on me to kind of realize that when I heard the news, it kind of turned to see that how important or how people could look up to us and what we do and how important what we do are. So what I would recommend to anyone watching these streams and the restreams is to literally go after your passions and do what you gotta do. And if you want to be a truth seeker, like I imagine all of us are, then go out and do so. But do it at your ability level. If you want to push to exceed yourself, like Villain did, I highly recommend it because he was definitely someone to definitely try to take up the torch after.
Yeah,
and I also don't know if any of us can, but but we should definitely try to take up the mantle that he left behind. That's what I gotta say.
I like how you're doing it, and what I took out of that was push yourself. That's kind of what Dylan was trying to get everybody to do. Don't just kind of settle. Push yourself to be better all the time. Thank you for your press media, and thanks for the image that we have there also. Kate, if you don't mind.
Okay, I'm Kate Speaks on Twitch. I talk about everything that has to do with the three branches of government, and that's sort of my pathway right now that I've chosen to go down. One thing that I think Villain can be remembered by is his passion and love for society. I don't think that any of us really truly realize how much love he had for society and how much he wanted people to realize different perspectives, but again, like I said before, in a courteous and respectful way. I remember at the end of July, I was talking to him, I said, I'm pregnant with my 6th child, and the exact words he said to me was, that's the dream life right there. You are living the dream life, having that many children. And I just thought that was so shocking that that's what he would consider the dream life to be, because a lot of people wouldn't have looked at it that way. But to him, family, community, and just, people in general, that's what he strived to do, is just bring people together. And I think that's ultimately what we have to do as a community, is remember that we may not always agree, but together we can fight a war. Separate, we're just stepping blocks.
Yeah, divided we fall would be another thing, I think. Let's say, CJ, want to shout yourself out, and what few words would you use to describe him?
So, CJTV, and Dylan, man. He's bold, he's courageous, and raw. And when I say raw, I mean he was willing to expose himself to the world, and in that, I think, is where we got to see some of the most amazing exchanges that he had. Because whether or not he was overtly doing it, I think people just picked up on the fact that they knew that there was a vulnerability there in that presence, and that immediately disarms people when they know that the person that's in front of them is willing to put their shield down and there's no weapon in hand and just let themselves be exposed. And it's a beautiful thing for me to see in all the streams of his. And like BCP said earlier, I don't really watch, and it's not for any other reason. I don't really watch a lot of streams, even my own. The Kenosha footage, I didn't watch that for up until this last couple months. Probably 30 hours of, I just didn't have it in me to go back and watch it all, because it's very emotionally engaging and mentally draining. When you're out there doing that and you're streaming, you're connected to all of these different people, all these different emotions, all these different sentimentalities, and all these different ideologies and beliefs. You have to leave yourself very, very open to it. And that's where being raw can be hard for people. And so, like I said, when Villain and I finally had that really good start, it was a time when I realized that we're, like was said, we're not alone. And the fact that he was even willing in that place, in the face of all that chaos, right? There was, like I said, people getting stabbed, people getting beat. Even then, he was like, what are you doing to cope? Because here's where my heart's at right now. And man, that for me was a big deal, to know that the guy was willing to, that he was willing to, not knowing me on a personal level. I never slept on his couch, and we hadn't gone to each other's parents' homes or anything like that. But knowing that there was something there that was a safe place, and I tip my hat to the legacy that he left. That is a notion that this is a safe place, and you're amongst friends, even if we don't see eye to eye on a lot of things, even if we don't fundamentally understand each other entirely, but there's a camaraderie here, and there's an adherence of appreciation and respect, which I think is powerful. And there's somebody that, whether you knew Villain's beliefs or not, he made that very clear in his presence, was that it was a good place to be. And he did feel good when you were around him.
that was something like it's been said so many times, and you're right. Like I hadn't really thought about it. Like they say, like when you're out around sharks, like the best thing you can see is a dolphin, right? Like he was kind of like that dolphin. You know what I mean? Where he was like, "I got you, man," and he would ask questions that I fancy myself being pretty brash. Like I'm willing to get in there with a microphone and kind of get in people's faces, but I would stutter step it a lot of times, and he had zero stutter step, and he would face to face with whomever he was talking to and ask questions that they weren't gotcha questions. You know, they weren't like loaded. They were genuine, and I feel like that's a beautiful sentiment for him to have put out there, which is that he truly was seeking to understand. I think
yeah, like you said, genuine. Yeah, no, you're good. You're good. Everybody's kind of thinking that they're on stream or whatever, and talking to their chat and everything's going on. I know. It's all good.
Heck, I remember CJ one time came in when my battery died. We were in DC. Remember CJ? You came up and gave me a little push for a little bit.
Yeah.
Mr. Bill, I just wanted to ask you, can I say something? I know you're going through. I just want to say something really quick.
Sure. Yeah.
I just want everyone to know that it shouldn't, and this sounds really maybe selfish or stupid or whatever, but it shouldn't take somebody dying for us to treat each other this way. We should be doing this all the time. We should, for each other, because none of us know what each other are going through, and we all put on a good show because that's our job. But I'm sure a lot of us deep down feel. I mean, I can speak for myself. I felt that way. So I just wanted to say that it shouldn't take somebody passing for us to slow down for a second.
Yeah, let's try to make everybody better. Yeah. Tara, if you want to go next.
Well, that being said, real fast, I think it's important. Real fast, I gotta say, like that being said, and I know we all can agree with that. Like, it's important that we go ahead and do something about it. Then, like, we need to set up, make sure this Discord is something that we utilize, and we start putting ourselves in a position where we can really do something about it. Because it's easy here. I mean, be emotionally available and vulnerable. Like, I think that moving forward, like, this is powerful. This is a very, very
exactly.
Like when I sat down with Primetime when we had that lunch, BCP and everybody, like, to acknowledge that there's a group here, and not just that. But you guys are all, all of you, great minds.
Little breaking up a tad.
Breaking up a little bit. Yeah, but what I'm trying to say there is
each other.
Supporting everybody, like using this Discord. I think our chats would also like to see more sort of getting together. To have special guests on the stream. Even if I disagree with some of their opinions. Feel free to say, hey, Tara might invite CJ on the stream next week. I don't know. Just
to kind of just add to what CJ's saying, I use my platform 2 times a week on Tuesdays and Thursdays. On Thursdays, more of like a competition debate style, but I have Roundtable Tuesdays where we get together and we talk about a lot of these things that are bothering our particular communities, things that are glaring elephants in the room that we need to address and talk about so we don't find ourselves having another somber meeting like this. I think it would be great to have
good point, Brett.
Sit downs like that. I mean, and I've tried my best to dedicate as much of my platform to that. Anybody else that wants to be a part of it, let's do it.
Tara does a great job.
I'm going to do it as well. I mean, I'm here. I'm going to make that verbal commitment. I'll definitely do it.
I think it's very important.
Yeah, Tara's doing a great job with her thing. I'm sure you guys are watching. I think CJ's watching. Tara and her friend that I cannot remember the name of do their show. She can tell you more about that.
Just on or off stream, though, I want to say that it's important that we take care of each other. And I'm so sorry, Polish American Brotherhood. Go ahead.
Oh no, I agree. It is very important, and I found myself looking back and rereading every single text message that I had with Villain, and he had messaged me once back in September saying that he was tired of being Villain Report, and he was questioning whether or not he was making a difference with his goal and of promoting the truth and helping bridge conversations. And I told him, I find value in your work. And when he had expressed that to me, that he was tired of being Villain Report, from what we're talking about now, about that sense of community and it's true. Like we do need to have more of a sense of community so that nobody feels like alone, and to know that that what we are doing does have true value. And when he had said that to me, like I just talked about the community that we are forming, and going forward, like you guys said, it shouldn't take a tragedy for us to realize the importance of building a community amongst us. The speaking of villain, the number one thing that I will always remember him by is his ability of humanizing everybody of different backgrounds and different opinions, even those who were trying to cause him harm. He still didn't shut down their voice, and still gave them the opportunity to speak. And so I think that's something that I want to apply also onto my platform, is even when I disagree with people, to still not shut down their voices. And even when they're trying to shut me down, like, hey, I won't let them shut me down, but also be vigilant that I won't shut down other people, and really try to bridge community, not just amongst us who have same opinions, but to further everybody's
Cross
voices,
the
so that
divide.
ideas can rise to the top. And as long as everybody's being heard, like, I think that that will help with any extremism or radicalism that we're having, because really it's when you're siloed that you start to develop more of a radical thought. So bridging communities is something that, and bridging together voices is something that Villain had epitomized, and something that I know I want to put forward in my platform as well.
And just to shout out your platform again, that's Polish American Brotherhood on YouTube. And Adam, and what's the name of the show again? Sorry.
Yeah, I'm my co-host for we have the TNA show, the Tara and Adams show.
Awesome. Yeah, check that out, guys. And I broke streamer rule number 1. I drank too much, so I'm gonna let Primetime Patriot go on with his stuff, and I'll be right back.
You mean you broke my rule? That's my rule.
At least when you're out on the live stream and you drank too much before you started live streaming, big boo boo. But anyway, restreaming not as bad. Go ahead, Primetime. Thank you.
Thanks, Bill. I just want to say, it's an honor to be a part of this community. It's a tight-knit community of individuals out there. But I've been really honored to get to know Dylan in the short amount of time that we did have together. And he immediately took me in like a brother and treated me as such. And the one thing that I really will always remember is that, in a time of misinformation and chaos, Villain was there to bring truth. And he was there to bring truth out of everybody, out of every human, like Tara said. He really was able to humanize the situations. He was able to get raw and real with these people. He was able to pull out the emotions and their feelings and their true heartfelt beliefs. That's really hard sometimes to get out of people in this day and age. And you can instantly feel it in a conversation with Villain. People put up a barrier or put up a wall, and he was immediately able to knock it down with numerous strategies of philosophy or logic, whatever it was. Villain was able to break through that surface, get to the mind of these people, and he was able to share that truth to the world. And that's so important with what we're able to do is to share that truth of everybody. Everybody's got a little bit of truth to share, and Villain was there to make sure that not only was his truth heard, but everybody he talked to, whether it was the right, the left, it didn't matter. So I'll always remember that about Villain, and I hope to keep that spirit up of trying to bring the divide together.
And I just want to say, while Mr. Bill is finishing up here, remember, everyone on my stream, every bit, every advertising penny, every bit of it, we will tally this up tomorrow once ads are figured in, and we will appropriate those funds to the two efforts that we have this evening. Okay, just making sure so everyone knows. Make it simple for you. If you don't know how to navigate, you feel maybe hesitant going to each one of these sites. Or you don't think you have things typed the correct way, to simplify and streamline. We're going to streamline it and make it really easy. It's really loud.
And I also just wanted to say that if you guys ever want to get together, I know a lot of you guys are in the Pacific Northwest. My home is open for barbecues or dinners, and there's plenty of space to have families if you want to bring your families, but I'm just throwing it out there that I will happily host and barbecue salmon and steaks and whatever else that you guys choose to if you ever want to plan something to get together.
All right, everybody, airport tickets are on me. Let's go tomorrow.
I'm in. I'll visit you guys over at the airport. Let me know.
She already cooks for a crowd.
Come on over. I already make it for 8 every night, so why not 28?
Yeah, I guess another. I think I was gonna say another 18 probably ain't gonna do much.
Not sure who was next. Was it Son of Hightower?
Yes.
Yeah. So, hey, everybody. Nice to meet everybody here. Thank you to Mr. Bill and Robert for shouting me out. Mr. Bill for the invite. I've met a couple of you here. I've had a chance to have a conversation with a few of you. It's been absolutely wild out there in the field. I'm not sure what personality or moment you met me in at that time. But I basically, I don't know why everybody got started doing this, but I know the reason why I did. I kind of got gaslit and rather an emotional person who worked in politics for many years, and a police officer recommended I create my YouTube channel, so that's what I did. And we've been talking about community, and Villain was part of my community, and to know that he was in the chat when he was in the chat and when he was hanging out, and it was always great because he was somebody who he was doing what I was doing and standing up and asking why and finding out and demanding questions and trying to do so in a reasonable way, exercising our First Amendment. I know it's rather shocking, but I promise, guys, I will never take your guns from any of you guys or anything like that. My freedom narrative is what it is, and again, Villain appreciated it, and I appreciated him so much while we were out there. We had the opportunity so many times to have so many, find ourselves in those moments and have that peaceful conversation, find that place, because that's truly where I'm coming from. People give the term FTP a hard time, and I've dedicated this last year to making sure that when I use that phrase, it's in reference for the peace, and it's always been that way. But it's just, again, we're all human, and we have a tough time doing this. When he was asked in my chat by a person some of you guys may know in your guys' communities, she's part of mine, AFPDX, what inspired him to do so, he said, watching me. And I've got another buddy in my community, Kenny Money, shout out, who wants to remind me that, courageousness is contagious. And it was just so awesome to have him in my life, to know that this person who had his own personal experience with God and was so willing to share it and try to have a dialogue in a way that would navigate us to those questions within ourselves, to find that. When we were met, I'd already been there, and I told him that, and I told him that whatever, whoever he is, whatever I respect him, and because of that, and that's where we met, and to know that I had that part, to see the light in him, and play that role in his life, and then to be here with the level of influence here in this room. I'm not sure. I don't know everyone here, but at the end of the day, for me, the message is just very simple, and it's right or wrong, and he was such a great person to be out there, because he was that mirror, that person that you wanted to impress, or just to not even impress, but to
emulate.
No, it wasn't to emulate. It was just you wanted to be part of his community, and to know that he was part of mine, and he looked up to me. It was amazing. It blew me away because
a good feeling.
Yeah, because well, you know, and I've got an experience where a lot of people don't. I've kind of taken a lot of black pills. You know, there's a lot of white pills to have, but I don't believe that they're in this life, so to speak. I mean, we're working the best we can to keep doing what we can and bring light to people.
Son of a high power.
I am.
You don't,
that's my.
you
That's what I'm doing. And again,
there you go.
So
I want to let
it was.
Look, BCB's out there going to buy me a hamburger before he does that.
Go
ahead.
I just wanted to
if
say
you don't
that
mind, real
Sunday
quick,
we
Bill,
figured something
if I could be before I was interrupted. At a young age, I was explaining that politics aren't about saving the world; it's about making money. And I'm glad to have known Villain Phoenix, because he was about saving the world, and he was one of those kind of, you know, he was a good person, good spirit, and just to know that he watched me and he was inspired by me, that was amazing. And so I'm going to keep going out there and keep doing what I'm doing. And this year is for the peace, everybody. And so thank you for all watching so high.
Yeah, you can see Son of Hightower on YouTube. He walks around the streets of Portland nowadays, you know, showing us what's going on there and like everything else he said. Go ahead, BCP. What do you got to say? I know you're
Thanks, sir. I started off eating some ice cream about 2.5 hours ago, so now I had to come to a restaurant to actually get the food. So I've been outside like 30 minutes. No, so check this out, you guys. In case people are tuning in or whatever and don't know who I am, Quincy Franklin. I go by the Black Conservative Preacher on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Rumble, Instagram. That is the BC Preacher. So, like I told you guys earlier, known Villain about a year and a half. He always had my back. He was always looking out for me when we were out in the field. You know, and Son of Hightower, Common Sense Conservative, Primetime Patriot, CJ, myself, we've been in hostile situations. Tara herself, Eddie, I mean, most of us on here have been in hostile situations. And especially January 6th, it played a toll on us, the ones who were there. Good, bad, or indifferent, that amount of people in, whether it was organized chaos, planned chaos, whatever, there was a lot of emotional things in that short amount of time. And that's just one incident. You know, we talk about the Wii Spa, we talk about Chaz, Chalk, we talk about Antifa and the Portland stuff. And when you're out in the field and you're in the middle of that, and you're having to keep your head nonstop on a swivel because you don't know what type of object's going to be flown at you, you don't know when someone will just walk up to you and stab you, walk up to you and shoot you, execute you, walk up to you and mace you. Villain took on all of that. He took on their ideologies, their philosophies, and he looked at this world as a broken world. And all that guy was out there to do was expose the truth, no matter what side it was, no matter who he was talking to. And he wanted this unity in this broken, lost world. That's what he wanted. While he was looking at his own self, examining his own self, he wanted things to be, he wanted peace. He wanted things to be peaceful. And he carried that weight. He really did carry that weight. And it sounds like he shared that with a lot of you guys. He shared that with his mods. Obviously, if someone's going to be on the phone for 8 hours talking to someone, there are some in-depth conversations going on. And that's just real talk. I don't spend 8 hours on the phone even with my wife. So I'm just saying, you know, there's some in-depth conversations going on for 8 hours when you're talking to mods and you're in people's lives, you're engaged in people's lives. And so that's one thing about Villain that I will remember. The dude was very, he in a way wore his heart on his sleeve. Just put it that way. So I appreciate you guys. And for you guys who may have your own studios and who stream Dylan or stream myself, the reporters who go out on the field, I thank each and every single one of you guys. Even if you don't like me, if you love me, whatever, it's all good, because the message and the truth of what's happening in our society, in the world, no matter what, is being exposed and is getting out there. So I thank each and every single one of you for what you guys actually do and how you guys contribute to things. So I'm going to get out of here. You have a blessed night. Thank you guys very much, honestly.
Amen.
Love you, Quincy.
Love you, buddy.
Thank you, Quincy.
You're welcome, man. CJ? CJ.
Yeah.
I don't like you, man. I'm just like
I love you.
Hey,
You break them up.
one thing, PCP though. One thing before you leave, man, I wanted to say though is maybe Villain's last contribution was to bring us all together.
I was just thinking that. I was going to also kind of interject before you stepped off as well, Quincy. Anytime you'd like to come on the show, have in-depth conversations, that's what I'm all about, getting to the center of what it is like really, really hard to talk about. I don't really stream on YouTube, so we can have much more in-depth conversations. So if you ever wanted to do that, fully, wholeheartedly extend an invitation to you, man. So,
appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
Thank you for coming on, BTP. Hey,
all right, God bless you guys.
Drive safe.
Have a good one. And then restreamers, thanks for shouting out all the live streamers out here that are out there putting it in your channel, your mods, and I'm sure you're all doing that. I just want to thank you for doing that. Hey, Yeedy, if you want to shout out what we were talking about earlier about how good Villain was at helping others, and shout out that link if you guys, the chat wants to donate there. Also, if you guys want to, the chat wants to help out Villain's dogs and everything. I love seeing CJ with his dog on his lap there as he was driving around. That was awesome to see. But go to bestfriends.org and Edie will give you more information about another way that you can help out also. Go ahead, Edie.
That was awesome to see his dog, but at the same time, it freaked me out. I was like, where did CJ just go? Is the dog driving now? Like, what's happening?
CJ just turned into a dog. Holy shit.
The dog
Being the shapeshifter.
The dog can hold the camera correctly, at least, at least the dog can hold the camera.
I think that might be the alcohol talking there, but.
Sorry about that.
Real quick though, you see this little girl right here? This girl right here, she bit the FBI when they raided my house. So I gotta
love those fur babies.
Yep.
All right. Go ahead, Edie.
One real quick thing too, Mr. Bill, I just wanted to say is, Brant, you are the best, bro. Like what you've created here is quite amazing. And thank you.
No, you started it, bro.
I didn't do
outside of unforeseen circumstances. I merely just took this and have just
beautiful thing, though.
Basically, just built this in the game. We have so many amazing people that contribute. But yeah,
one of the guys that didn't start it at all. Exactly, but I mean, most of us started in a lot of cases. Got me started watching it was Dave from PT News, and Yeedy is a moderator on his channel, and he can it is turn to shout himself out and tell us about that link.
All right, I am Yeedy McEaterson, or known as. I have Yeedy on the streets. You can find me on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, DLive, Twitter.
Pornhub.
You know, no.
Got it.
Villain.
That's only Jack Murphy. That's only Jack Murphy.
That's enough. Okay.
Hey, reverse, yo. Come on.
Decorum. You know, granted, I didn't know Villain like some of you. I was just, somebody who watched and had, restreamed a few times. And some of my chat, they said, that he had his emotions on his sleeve. He let people know it. That's what made him real. And to a lot of people who watched him. That he took the time to ask tough questions, wanted to hear what everyone had to say. He even would ask questions rhetorically towards his audience and not just the people he was asking on camera, for us all to look deeper within ourselves. Another person said that Villain was full of life connection, with whether it be with people or what he was doing, and that also more people cared about Villain than he would ever know, and that a lot of people, even the ones that never got the privilege to meet him in person, cared so much about him.
Can I say one thing, Edie? A couple of times I have my chat asking, like, Dylan and Villain. We're talking about Villain. Sometimes people are saying Dylan. I don't think they need to, but I just want to make sure.
No, Villain. Villain Report or Villain Phoenix. But yeah, the links are, for his, or was I?
Bestfriends.org if you want to help sponsor his, not his, but we all know that he loved dogs and everything. And I even gave a speech today, and after I was done kind of giving that speech in honor of Villain at the Capitol and everything, I had to go over and find the closest dog and everything, and just my way of saying rest in peace, Villain. It was kind of to honor him in that way there. Bestfriends.org. If you guys want to go over there, send a donation, I think they give you the option to sort of say in memory of somebody or something like that. Please do that now. I wish there was a way I could sort of see it on here, something like that. Another way, if your chats want to, I'm not sure when it's going to happen. Common Sense Conservative, let everybody know if and when they have kind of a memorial and everything, but a way that you can sort of, I think he doesn't mind doing it. I know if you guys go to my Discord and I've got a channel on there, put your messages for Villain or whatever, and possibly Robert's last a video about Villain or something like that, and we'll take all your comments and everything and present them to Villain's family and close friends at that memorial. I think that might be a nice idea. If Robert's okay with that, so that way you guys can sort of feel like you're kind of a part of this and the people in your chats. But anyway, Edie, if you want to shout out that link also to help the girl out.
I have shouted out in my chat, and a no-kill shelter is the best way to go, whether it be a cat or dog. But please, I am asking you this myself. If you are a pet owner, please be a responsible pet owner. And that means you're making a commitment for however long that animal is alive.
That's family, man.
Yeah. They become family. If you wish to help out a member of our community, you can do so. My Venmo is Yeety on the streets, all one word. Cash App is $Yeety on the streets. And then my PayPal is paypal.me/Yeety Yeet McEaterson. All one
Sorry,
word.
it's so hard not to chuckle at that when you say that final one.
I know.
Yeet McEaterson.
Yep. I am the original Yeeter.
You might have to spell that last part.
YeetyYeetMCYeePErson.
Oh God! I dropped out of high school. I can't even pronounce what you just said.
I'm sure moderators put it in the chat there, BK. Thank you.
No, I'm just making jokes.
I know. What was I going to say? Oh yeah, and this isn't something like the Red House that the left and Antifa does, where they're kind of collecting money and it ends up going in their own pockets. This is going to go directly to somebody in need and everything. Just like the way like I was saying, if Villain was out there or whatever, if he wasn't helping pet a dog or whatever, he'd sort of see that somebody needed some warm clothes or whatever. He'd find some way to help him out. But anyway, I saw Ultimate Podcast Report. How you doing, buddy? Go shout yourself out, and what your thoughts on Villain?
I only popped on because I really appreciate you guys refreshing my memory. Like CJ said, going back to Chop Chaz, covering him, using Quincy's Polish American Brotherhood for Summer of Love. My objective was to show people the truth that you guys were kind enough to stream from the ground, to let viewers formulate their own opinion of belief based off what they see rather than what they were told. And there was only one rule. You agree to disagree respectfully with anyone else who might not agree with you. It's really
fantastic
point. But like just the same values that you guys have preached here tonight, but like I appreciate the way Quincy verbalized. I always put text and would say orally like everybody's stream names, because it's not like restreamers can be up 24/7 when you guys are out all the time. So the least I can do is pass your info.
Amen, brother.
If they want to make a donation, they're more than welcome to. Come on. But Bold is tough to beat, but he was a dumpster diver, and that's what I loved about him. And
that's a good strategy.
His mask was the neutralizer, if you will. CJ mentioned how, he was afraid to use the way he spoke to interview, he might fuck up. I would always call him Villain. I don't know how to pronounce it, but Villain. He would do the interviews and he would be able to ask these questions, and his words were like water. Everybody drinks water.
That's right.
Thank you.
To kind of set those questions that maybe float the line, that might set somebody else off with a different, you know what I mean? I used to be a therapeutic crisis intervener, so we studied a Harvard case study, and it says that over 70% of how you're perceived is based off body language. You get cut off in a car, somebody flips you the bird, you know what they're saying, or like a cop pulls you over, you okay, miss? Yes, sir, I'm fine. Oh, you're shaking your head now.
Yeah, I was just gonna point that one out. That was good.
One other thing I want to add real quick. One word I would use to describe Villain: fearless.
I would disagree. I wouldn't say he was fearless. I think he was. I think he had fear, but I think he had greater importance beyond fear. You got to.
He didn't show it. He did not show it.
He certainly didn't.
He would get right there in the enemy's, so to speak.
No, I know what you mean. Like at the weak spot,
Antifa, right in their face, and
but also still respectful, not right in their face, but he wouldn't back down.
Right, and it didn't back up with them either.
Yeah, that's correct.
So that's why I say fearless.
Yeah, good words and everything.
I'll agree with that, actually.
Chrysanthemum, again, was a good friend of Villain's, and she's probably already watching somebody's stream right now. But researchers out there are people kind of appreciating what we're doing here for Villain. I think it was kind of important to one of the good friends that are Villain to know that
there's overwhelming support for Villain the whole night.
Hey, can I say something real quick, Mr. Bill?
Sure.
We got 110 plus like Porno Club right now. So yeah.
Hey, just so you guys know too, Ultimate Podcast isn't going to tell you guys this, but he's had a rough time lately, and keep him in your prayers. We love you, man.
Yeah. Big prayers, man.
Because I knew I fried myself. It's all good.
I love you, bud.
Same thing with Central too, guys. We keep forgetting Central here. Central, you've had a lot of medical issues, so just hey, I'm the disabled guy. I gotta bring those up, guys. I gotta let everybody know.
Oh, yeah, exactly. You guys can help out.
I appreciate all those. Go ahead, Bill. Sorry.
I was just going to say that and everything, when, Villain's out there or whatever, he would always kind of show everybody some love, re-streamers, whether Brant on his show or somebody else or whatever, he would kind of find out how they're doing, what's going on with them, and he was kind of, if he sort of say some nice words about them, he would, so if you guys want to try to help out Ultimate Podcast and his situation, did you shout out your channel yet, podcast? Ultimate Podcast Reports on YouTube, if I recall, right?
YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch, but primarily Facebook and YouTube.
Awesome. And Central,
Central, you're first. Go ahead.
Bill, I just want to say I wanted to thank so many of you people for support and love you've shown for the last 6 months. I've got another surgery coming up here in the next week or two, and this unfortunately is still going to keep going for quite a while. But I will get through this. I will make it through. I will walk again.
Let's get some claps in the chat.
Yeah. Hey, chat. I just want to say this. I turned on the chat for now. Everybody spam hearts. Let's get some love in the chat, and let's fill the screen up with support for Villain. Let's absolutely just black out the chat with nothing but hearts and good vibes. Whatever emotes that you have, your support that you can as somebody who's viewing this and wanting to any level or degree contribute. Really great thing we can do is just for everyone here, just spreading a good vibe and just filling that chat up with, like I said, hearts, emotes, whatever you feel. Just an appreciation and respect for Phil and Phoenix.
Chrysanthemum and Common Sense Good Reserve. I know they appreciate that, and they'll probably explain how much they appreciate it. Go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, I just had two more things that I was thinking about that I wanted to say. In our Discord, sometimes Villain would pull out a guitar and he would play and sing. And the last song that I remember him singing to us was If I Could Be Like That by 3 Doors Down.
That's a good song. Acoustic, I'm guessing, correct?
Yeah.
I'm thinking Brant's probably looking it up right now, possibly.
And another thing that I wanted to say was everybody noticed how, or said something about how Villain was fearless or put himself in harm's way, no matter what. And so I just wanted to say that, or read this, and it is a guardian angel is the type of angel that is assigned to protect and guide a particular person, group, or a nation. And that's how I see Villain.
Here's something that will help you the same way it helped me. Just don't let it drive you too crazy. Go ahead. What was the name of that song?
What was the name of that song?
If I Could Be Like That.
Okay.
If I could be like that. That went up.
After we play that song, and then we'll get.
One thing though, when you, because I just want to tell you this, Chrysanthemum, because you talked about a guardian angel, and and once again, guys, I gotta harp on this, but when my father passed away, I have religious family members, and they said that my dad was my guardian angel, and the number one thing to look out for guardian angel is the number 33. That signifies a guardian angel being around you. So if you wake up in the middle of the night and it's 9:33 at night, or you check your phone, or you play a game, whenever you see that number, you know that there's somebody looking over you, and then that could very well be Villain. You never know. And you know what? I'm guessing at the moment he's looking over all of us, and he's so very proud that he was able to do. I'm getting goosebumps saying this, that he was so able, even without him being here, look what he's doing. Look how amazing that is. How many of us can say they can do the same thing? And nobody can. Nobody can. And that's the unfortunate aspect about human nature. That's why I was saying earlier that it shouldn't, not to criticize any of us, but it shouldn't take this for that to happen. But we're humans, and it unfortunately does. And I'm sure everyone here has lost someone and felt that very feeling well before this. And
Well said.
just learn from it. Just learn from it. That's all I say.
Yeah, well said, brother.
And before Robert says his thing here, we can keep talking after Robert gets done with his thing there, but I just want to give the restreamers a chance to, if they wanted to, ask their chat, if they wanted to keep talking, we could talk about what ahead for 2022 with a little bit of a villain twist on it there also. But if you guys are getting tired, I know we're on the West Coast and a lot of us, it's only 8 o'clock, we can keep on going, but I just want to give the restreamers an option to kind of bow out after Robert says his appreciations. And also, Robert, if you can think of an idea that how the chats out there can sort of show their love or whatever, if and when there is a kind of a dedication or something like that, can they post their information somewhere? I'm going to give them the option to post out to my Discord. If you guys, restreamers can post on my Discord, or if Robert has a better idea, go for it.
All right. So I've been sitting pretty quiet, for a while. So I mean, I have a lot of things that I'm kind of wanting to like jump in on a little bit. One thing I will say is that, CJ and Quincy talked a little bit about how they loved how Villain could watch their back. And for those of you who know me, I don't like playing with others very much. So even this right here is just very different for me to do. But like, I love how Villain, when he and I would go out and we'd film something, we would totally separate, because I didn't like, filming with other people, because then I'd have to watch their back instead of, and in some of these situations that we've been in, watching somebody else's back gets you clocked in the side of the head. But Villain and I were able to like split off. And we could always trust each other, that we knew that we were going to meet up where we were supposed to meet up later on. We could find each other. And I liked that about him, because I knew that he'd be going off and he'd be filming something different. And then I'd go off a different direction. I'd be filming something different. And then we'd bring it all in together. And I knew that I could trust, like when people were talking earlier about him being brave, like the dude he was fearless. And he would go in and he'd do his thing, I'd do my thing, and then I knew he could handle himself. He was one of my favorite people to ever go film and stream with, because I knew that he could take care of himself one way or another. He'd be all right. Another thing that I wanted to bring up was about Villain, was that Villain has created what we're doing right now. And being, the only other people that I know, and the only reason I know them is because we've been doing this for such a long time, is Black Rebel and Eli. We've been doing this for, I think Eli's the only one who's been doing it quite as long as me, and Black Rebel was right after me. And seeing the second generation of streamers and filmers coming out, like most all of you guys have been doing this for probably 2 years or so. And it's awesome being able to like see all of you. And like CJ was saying earlier, a lot of us don't watch other people's streams because we're too busy like doing our own stuff, but I did enjoy watching Villain streams when he was somewhere where I wasn't. But, at the same time, it's cool getting to know all of you guys and being able to sit here quietly and listen to each of you tell your stories, and how Villain was able to bring some of you who've never done it before, who's never even probably thought about doing this stuff before, but you guys watched Villain streams and it kind of lit a little fire under you, and you guys came out and you started doing what you're doing today. And that is a real true testament to Villain and his character and what he has been able to accomplish, because just seeing the second generation of filmers and streamers come out, and a big part of it is due to him, like that, he has done a great service to this country, to be honest. Listening to you guys talk about what we do and stuff like that, and how important it is. And then my chat has been going nuts, thanking each and every one of you guys who's come out. There's been a lot of love for each and every one of you guys and ladies who have spoken today. And I just want to let you guys know that you guys are getting a lot of support and a lot of love. And I'm sorry that I don't know all of you. I do apologize for that. I will get. I've been going through while you guys were talking and subscribing to your channels, trying to find the ones that I can, and I will definitely be doing better. I do believe that it's a good idea to kind of create something out of this. I know that Villain would definitely like that. and I will do better at not being such a lone wolf. I will try to be more, involved with a lot of you guys and stuff like that too. Because really, this network that we have kind of created, like doing what we do, we inform millions. We let the people see exactly what's going on. If it wasn't for us, nobody would know what was happening in Portland. If it wasn't for us, nobody would have known what was happening in Chaz. Nobody would have known what happened in Kenosha. Nobody would have known what happened in DC. Like, what we do.
The narrative starts here, Robert. You're right. It starts out here in the Pacific Northwest, on the furthest edges of Western civilization.
I also want
this liberal narrative is spread everywhere. Sorry to interrupt you, Robert, but yeah, I just wanted to shout that out too.
Robert, could I add something really quickly too? Because I've been streaming you. I'm a restreamer. I never really. I always wanted to go out, but I just wanted to be fair to you and say that I have criticized your lone wolfness in the past, and I'm gonna go ahead and retract my statements now, and say that I hope we all can create a good family here, and I think that's very possible, and I don't know. I love you guys. Like, you're making me tear up. I'm getting goosebumps. Like, it's hard for me to keep my mouth shut, honestly.
Well, and I'll be honest, like, I've badmouthed some restreamers, like, I mean, I've always hated the idea of restreaming, but
well, I didn't say that. You did. Remember that. I didn't say that.
I know, but like, I've always badmouthed just the whole idea of restreaming but again, it's because, first of all, I didn't know there was any such thing as right wingers who restream. I had no idea. The only restreamers
about Rob, but not in Vancouver at that flag wave you did on that overpass. Matter of fact, you gave Mr. Bill and restreamers did a proper job. Actually calling it out.
Right, and it took a lot. It took a lot of like learning. It took a lot of learning and understanding.
We're all learning. We're all
the common sense. I would tell you too, though, and you are correct. Initially, when restreamers started, there was no credit giving to where it needed to be. People, there were a lot of channels where my chat would say, "Oh my God, we found a new Portland stream," and it was just some asshole restreaming you and then calling it his own. And I'm sure a lot of us have experienced that.
Right? Yeah.
So I mean, I wanted to say, like, I do appreciate you guys. Like, I have grown. I will admit it. I have grown. But I do appreciate you guys because for instance, when I lost my channel. For the last 3 months, my big channel was completely gone, and I was on this little baby channel. And if it wasn't for Steve, for instance, Steve restreamed, and a whole bunch of people showed up all of a sudden, and I'm like, oh wow, this is kind of cool. But like, I didn't realize, really all of it. You know what I mean? Like, it's hard to play. But so I do apologize to the restreamers that are on here for any bad mouthing that I might have done in the past, and let you guys know that I do appreciate you. And honestly, if it wasn't for Villain, and this is the point of it, this is the point of all of that. If it wasn't for Villain bringing all of us together to do this thing right here, it's a lot. It's big. It's a big thing, and I really do appreciate each and every one of you guys. All the streamers, all the restreamers. I appreciate all of you guys, and understand that Villain did too. Like, Villain would talk to me sometimes about some of you guys, and I'm like, I don't know who that is. I don't know who that is.
That's
sorry. I have no clue.
He said that about me. I think Villain probably said that about me one time too.
Yep.
I think I remember that. Yeah. It's like,
but I mean, realistically, what you've said, Robert, has been true for all of us. Me and DK started out on islands. We all started our platforms, what we do, our craft, what it is, your passion, right? We all did that. I did it. DK did it. It took slowly tiny little functions like this where you come together and you realize, look, we're a part of a greater thing. Yeah. And if we all stick together, they can't cancel you, Robert. They can't get rid of you because you continue on. And that has always been kind of like the mantra of my channel. I'm the TV guide. You stand in line at Walmart, you're thumbing through the little TV guide back in the day. It would tell you everything that's going on, everybody accredited, where you can find so-and-so. And what it does is it bolsters us. It makes us all kind of communally a part, like I said, of something that's greater. And so we've all started on islands.
Brett, I actually want to add to that because when I was banned off of Twitch, I had $2,800 go down the tubes. And if it wasn't for people like Brant and everybody in this room, when I went over to my YouTube channel, people donated over $1,400 within 15 minutes just so I could pay my internet bill and my rent. And if it wasn't for that, I mean, I would be streaming out of a cardboard box that I bought my PC in right now. So, it's just, the teamwork is really essential. I do believe in our, our side of the pond here.
You just got to use their tactics against them when we know we're unfairly censored.
Well, I mean,
like you're talking about Robert,
Brant, even
down, there's no
January
real
6th.
explanation. Yeah, I'm just saying, like, for
Yeah,
really
yeah.
vague circumstances like that, they can't shut all of us down without there being a class action.
And even if they
really
do,
can't.
you got all these people here that the second you make a new account, we're going to follow you right there, and we're going to support you the same way we always did. And
just like this, like Villain put in really good quality work, and his name persists beyond death. Like when you're that good,
It's
there's
American
no way
history.
they can't cancel you. They
It's
can't,
American history, man.
Yeah.
It's going down forever. It's never going to be unwritten. They try to rewrite history, but if we keep a community together and we keep there's so many classic villain moments that will literally go down in American history. Like
Well,
the
I mean,
Lindsey
what-
Graham moment
yeah.
in the airport. Come on, man.
Dude, that was
Come
like
on,
the most
man.
solid
Lindsay,
fucking.
that's the best 5 minutes. I mean,
How
it
many
wasn't
people
super violent,
just,
right?
just like yeah, like get them. I was so amped.
That's one thing you have to realize is that he contributed to American history and the legacy of Villain Phoenix and everything, and like it'll be a story you tell to your grandchildren. His January 6th, his testimony and his account of what happened, and what he shared from all that, it'll go down in history. And he helped create that legacy for all of us to contribute to. At the end of the day,
That's cool.
we all need to continue to stick together because the community is what continues to keep history alive. So.
Does anyone know if somebody has access to Villain's personal libraries of? Because I know he has a lot of footage that isn't on YouTube, and
I would think that would be to the family's disclosure.
Yeah, the family.
Okay.
The
Okay, well, I
family
don't want
has
to push
all
any
of
further
his-
than that.
Yeah,
First of all,
yeah.
I
We
didn't know.
shouldn't even-
I
we shouldn't
didn't know if he had like a secondary guy on his page running things or not. I didn't know. I didn't want to pry. I'm not trying to pry or anything. I don't want to.
Yeah, just
Hey guys,
Curious. I do have to take off as well too, though.
I was just going to say.
Hey, let me
if he
finish
has
real
one more.
quick.
Go ahead.
So I just wanted to finish real quick and just let you guys know, because you guys are talking about like a memorial and stuff like that. There is some talk going on about doing a memorial. We don't know exactly what his family wants to do when it comes to that, but I will make sure that it gets very public to all of you guys and everybody watching on the streams and stuff. And as for the comments and stuff, Mr. Bill, I'm going to give that to you because I got a lot of stuff going on with the other part of this. So I'll give that to you, and I'll be more than happy to do a show. I know a lot of people have been wanting to say that, and I was thinking about maybe doing a call-in show where people can call in and say something, because I know there's a lot of people on my chat, for instance, that's been wanting to,
That'd be awesome.
say some stuff too. So, but other than that, just his family has all of his personal effects. They are in charge of all of that stuff. So it's really up to them what they do. But we have been talking about doing a memorial or celebration of life, and we'll give people notice too if they want to travel in. And then I just want to close it out with, first of all, it is pronounced Antifa. First of all, Antifa. And
all right, no, excuse me. Okay, no, it's Antifa. Okay,
no, I don't know.
I say good day to you all, and you all have a good day.
Thank you.
You too, man. It was great to.
I added everyone.
You're an OG, Rob.
Hey, Robert, if you want to, on your people's chat real quick, if they want to go to my Discord, I just posted it in the chat there or whatever. Don't send any Antifa people over there, please. But anyway, they can sort of make their comment over in that Discord, the tribute to Villain, and say their comments or something like that. And then I'll print that out or something like that, or whenever it comes time or whatever. and give it to you so you can sort of let the family know how much Villain's missed. Unless there's some other way I can do it, that's the only way I can think to do it. I don't have a website or anything like that. But
we'll talk. We'll get it figured out.
We'll talk, Mr. Bill, when you've sobered up a little bit. No, I'm just fucking.
And I will as well, for everyone here that would like. I'm going to highlight this and download this video separate from beginning to end of this. I tried to not like talk over it so that the entirety of the memorial plus the video and all of the things, the audios that we shared and stuff like that. So if you'd like that, I can send it to you like across Google Drive or something.
I would like that.
Yeah.
Well, I streamed all of it. It started janky at first, but it came into its own there at the end.
Yeah, I've got the whole thing on my Twitch, beginning to end, nothing over it.
But I do have to take off for at least an hour. So like I don't mean to interrupt, but I have to leave like now. I do.
If you guys are heading out, go ahead and let DK go and start shout yourself out one more time, and then you're good. I'm just letting it let other people want to kind of step out, but I'll let you kind of say your last piece, and then you're going.
I don't mean to interrupt, but I have to go. Wilson's over here. He's gonna shit in my studio if I don't let him out. So I just wanted to say once again, I love every single one of you, and in particularly, I'm gonna use this time to just at least say one word. Kate, I do apologize to you, but we'll talk later, hopefully. But I love every single one of you guys, and I hope this. You guys got to remember, this isn't done. We're just getting warmed up for the next go around here, and like I said before, if you guys ever need somebody or you don't have to reach out to me. You have all these beautiful people in here. You have everyone in chat. Same to you guys in chat. You guys can reach out to anybody in here, and I love you guys, and I love you guys. That's what I want to say, and I love y'all.
I just want to say real quick, one of my people watching just donated $159.
There you go.
To the charity in Villain's name.
To the charity.
Really good.
Awesome.
Yes.
Nice.
But I'll be on in about an hour, maybe an hour and a half, if anyone's still on Central.
I'll be back in my Discord
talking to you. Pretty much anybody in here if they want to chat. I'll be on in about an hour and a half. I gotta go actually make my dinner and do a few things.
All right.
Be good, kid.
See you. I love you guys so much. Thank you once again, Brant, for allowing me to be a part of this. And it was really nice to meet all of you guys.
Most of the people in here, I just helped you facilitate it.
Absolutely. Well, you did a fantastic job. Be good, everyone.
And Kate, you needed to step out too. I know you've only got 6 kids to deal with, but you sound like you were stepping out.
Yeah, it's bedtime up and over here, so I gotta chase bunch of kids to bed.
If we're still on, feel free to come on back. We can talk
I
about.
want to appreciate you guys. Yeah. And please take me up on my offer. Come over, have dinner, whatever. Like, if I can facilitate that, it would be wonderful just to sit down and be able to talk with whoever wants to come on over. If you're in the Pacific Northwest, you're very close.
I see CJ's mouth watering right now.
Yeah, I'm on the way.
I'm not a bad cook.
I think CJ's on his way there right now.
If you got 6 kids, you're
come on over. It's cool. I got plenty of food in the fridge.
I'm sitting in the dining room right now, actually. I just got here, and I'm waiting.
Thanks,
Kate, be prepared to make us all a nice, big, juicy steak.
Yeah, I'm thinking we need to do like steak and salmon with some crab legs and some,
Oh, wow.
garlic bread.
I'm there.
Hey, we'll be there.
Party time.
She's the one thing, aside you folks, of course, that is making me want to come over to the West Coast by you guys. Let me tell you.
She's the welcome wagon, man. She's everyone on the.
She's awesome.
Well, hey guys, I gotta cut out too real quick. I put it off, but I've got a meeting with my business partner right now. Just got here, but you guys, seriously, all of you in here are incredible and legit. Like it. One of the things that someone was saying about Villain that I think hits with me and how I feel about all of you is like how you just feeling that he respected you was a big deal. That he gave you his his respect and fealty. And I think that's a big deal. And just knowing that we're all in here, that's a thread that runs between all of us in here. It makes me feel incredibly good. Like, and that's genuine. I hope you guys know that that's a big deal for me. And all of you guys, legitimately, and ladies, I'm not saying, being very inclusive in this. Legitimately, I've met a lot of you, and I'm so looking forward to meeting the rest of you. But this is something, these breakout groups, I can't stress enough that, like, I'm going to put an effort to follow up with it, because I think it's incredibly important. And yeah, like, it's an honor to be on here with you all, and to be able to share my piece in a tribute for somebody that I had a great deal of respect for, much like all of you. So let's keep pushing the envelope, man. Keep moving it forward, and making changes, and doing what I know we all celebrate the fact that we're able to do, and helping each other do that. I did a breakout session, and the last thing I'll say is out in Kenosha, and I had like Ford Fisher from News to Share, Brandon Gutenschwager from BG on the Scene. I had Kriston Harris from Rundown Live. And we all sat down, and one of the things that Ford Fisher said was that on the stream, he's like, we're not in competition, we're in coalition. And I was like, dude, that's a big deal. Like, we're not out here trying to like steal each other's viewers. What we're doing is building this amazing infrastructure of information. And I love the fact that all of us here can collectively help each other out. And I think that's something we can keep doing in a big way. I know I got deplatformed once back after Kenosha, and had it not been for like Steve down with PT, and even at the time, Andrew, like, I was able to pick up like 15,000 people like overnight, from the 150 that I lost in that Thanos snapped with a finger. But it was a big deal. Had it not happened, had I not had the support from all of this community here, who knows where I'd have ended up. But so I love you guys. I'm gonna shut up.
Before you go, if you wanted to send an invite to maybe not Ford Fisher, some of us might not like him so much, but anyway, PJ on the scene.
I love Ford. I think he's good. I like.
He's good. I just remember at Portland on August 22nd, somebody was saying they weren't a big fan of his over there. But anyway, yeah, invite those guys.
They don't like him.
It shows that.
I sent you a friend request, by the way, CJ. Sorry,
what was it?
I said I sent you a friend request, by the way.
Okay.
And I'm going to reach out to you, see how we can get you involved, man, because you have a wealth of expertise on the ground, and I'm pretty sure my community would love to hear you more in depth. We've covered a lot of what you've done, so I think it'd be great, man.
Absolutely. I'm 100% on board for anything any of you have going. Like, I definitely am looking forward to having like breakout sessions, round robins, co-hosting, whatever it is. Even building another platform. I would love to set up even a podcast where we can do this like on a regular basis. Bring in people from the outside that are looking to be involved, that may have questions. The range of experience and knowledge in this group right now is incredible. I mean, there's a lot of tenured experience in this. So thank you guys so much for everything. And please, anybody reach out to me. You guys, CJ at cjtv.live. Super easy to find via email. And then, of course, you DM me on my personal or my Facebook or any of these profiles. I'm terrible at technology, but I definitely will try to be on point when it comes to getting back to everybody. So.
Keep your Discord up. Keep your Discord up. It's easy to communicate
keep your Discord. It's a major tool. It's like the Swiss Army knife of communication.
You're a real one, CJ.
Thanks, CJ.
Thanks for making the drive out to Trump Tower.
Have a good night, brother.
Appreciate you, bro.
Absolutely, man.
Awesome.
You're a real one, buddy. Keep it up.
Nice to meet you, man.
All right, we can keep talking about. Awesome.
You're going to have to manually leave the call too, because
Likewise.
Discord, if even if you close your things, I'm just letting you know so you don't leave it open and have an oopsie moment.
There's that red X with the telephone with the X on it.
Yeah.
Hey guys,
Chat,
I
it's
also
not
wanted
recorded.
to-
Okay, go ahead.
I just want to say thanks for including me in today's tribute in chat, and let's keep the memory of Villain alive and continue on with his work. Thanks, guys.
See you, Tara.
Appreciate it. And see you, Tara. Thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for joining us.
How the hell did
Polish American Brotherhood on YouTube, guys. Click that follow. Actually, subscribe on YouTube.
I was just gonna say one last thing. I lost a brother, suicide, and how each thing like a cancer ribbon, pink ribbon, breast cancer, etc. I lost a cousin to Merkel cell carcinoma. It's blue. So suicide is a semicolon, and what that means is though that person's life is ended, they still live on through us. and in what we're doing here right now, or what you guys are so kindly expressing, having contact with him like Rob did, or anyone else. It's holding true to that, and I just want to thank you guys for that as well. Very refreshing for the community at large. The network that's been built, again, just trying to share truth and what's happening in real time. Couldn't be done by anyone alone, but in times of darkness, sometimes one alone stands above most. So incredibly humbled as well. Wish we could have had Quincy and Tara on for that, just to include everybody at large, not wanting to negate anyone. But thank you guys for sharing the time.
Yeah. Do you guys have anything else to share related to that? Use the general chat that's on our Discord here. If you, we're all probably going to start using it more often now, but just let everybody know if they're thinking about other people or they have something that they wanted to shout out or whatever. Use the Discord here to let it be heard. Is there anybody else that wanted to keep going, or you guys got to step out or anything like that? We can keep talking about whatever. I was thinking about talking about what's ahead for 2022. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say this, that me and Villain and a couple of other people were supposed to have a really deep or in-depth conversation about why civics is not really promoted in education anymore. And he was very, very much a strong advocate for knowing your rights and knowing, the law as it is written, and understanding what your basically like the way he framed it was like your duty as the constituent to stand up for in the face of darkness, against tyrants and different things like that was the overwhelming sentiment. But we never got to have that conversation. It was kind of at the tail end of like a 8-hour discussion, and I just figured maybe we could continue that because I felt like it was a very strong subject that he was very outspoken about.
I wish Villain told me to quit drinking Mountain Dew so much and everything, but I go to the restroom again. Keep going, Brent. You got it.
Well, I mean, my main thing when I was going to talk to him was like, an uninformed public is a very easy manipulative public. You can make anybody do what you want them to do if you can fear them into thinking they don't have a natural right or a claim, or at least the ability to challenge said authority. And that was a really huge thing that Villain was always about, was being super verbal and outspoken about declaring what my rights are, what I can do, where I can be, why you don't have the right to tell me I don't have the right to be here.
No.
And like I said,
you don't stand up for your rights, you lose them.
Yeah.
As one of my viewers says, there's no need for TV news when they have all of us.
That's the fact. MSM, whether it's left wing or right wing, they still have a narrative. Whereas you guys are the eyes on the ground. Just show it as it is.
Hey,
by the way, we're the real fact checkers. We're the real fact checkers.
It's the sheep. The TV news, CNN, if you apply our world to like Animal Farm, written by George Orwell, CNN, Fox News is basically corralling the sheep, repeating that narrative to and
more like
not even given any. I mean, just know that they're going to be there to disrupt the conversation. Their main point there is just to get in there and just disrupt the conversation. How do we deal with the sheep? I don't know. I'm still wondering if we have a snowball's chance in hell in any of this. I'm nobody, you guys. I'm nobody. You're somebody to me.
Man, you have lived experience, man.
Hey, Primetime, you were just showing that Justice for Jay video. Didn't they get harassed Villain that day? I thought I remember them harassing him a little bit.
I don't remember which video. The one that I was just playing before.
Yeah, that was it was August. No, it was September 20.
October 13 or October 3rd.
Yeah. It was a Justice for Jay when we drove across the bridge and then we went down to the park.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
He had to get picked up over by the food carts.
Yeah, because I remember everybody thought he was Antifa, and I just remember that day.
Yeah, that you know,
Well,
and
no,
Nobody thought he was
from,
Antifa in LA.
from a first glance,
Maybe,
I always thought
Yeah,
in the
it's
back of my
paranoid.
mind, in the very beginning of knowing Villain, before I had the chance to actually sit on a panel and understand, where he actually stood on a lot of specific topics. But there were a lot of times where he was so good at his job getting in there that you could tell it was fooling everyone around him, except for maybe the few people in the crowd that understood and recognized who that he was. And he could get up there and debate you before you even knew that you were in the middle of a conversation you're going to be basically having to defend some stupid point on. And then obviously the attacks and standing your ground, and then obviously police at the same time trying to, barge in as well. It just the dude was fucking brave. Very, very
Yeah,
brave.
he set a standard for sure. Like, how to approach a situation. As a streamer, you get put in a lot of uncomfortable situations that you have to face your fears. You have to face reality. You have to face aggressive people. But he set a standard for people. Like, if there was a challenge in front of him, he was gonna go directly at it. And I mean, obviously, he was gonna be calculated about it, but he was gonna go and face it right on. And I think that was something that a lot of people could envy, especially as a streamer. Like, you could envy that. I mean, I know when I first started, I remember telling myself, man, you got to go up and you got to ask questions of people. You got to break your barriers a little bit and go up to people and ask them uncomfortable situational questions. And that's where you get to the heart of the live streams, and that's where people really get envious of how good of a live